This is the Rich Eisen Show.
The Blazers take down the Lakers.
Tanya Ganguli here on the Rich Eisen Show. I mean, I would ask the poll question of Tanya, please.
Yeah, Tanya, which one seed should be panicking the most?
I guess I would say the Lakers.
Laker Nation, don't worry about that.
Today's guests from Sports Illustrated, Chris Mannix, Pro Football Hall of Famer Jerome Bettis, actor and comedian Rob Riggle, Los Angeles Dodgers third baseman Justin Turner, plus Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Oh, dead solid, perfect way to start this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. We're pleased that you are with us, and there's a lot of we. First of all, the name of the show. There's me, Rich Eisen.
You're important. You're important.
We say hello to my friends over there, Chris Brockman, Mike Del Tufo, fresh back from attempting to close on a boat. Good to see you, Mike.
Yeah, we're close.
Good to see you guys over there. Also, want to make sure that we say hello to our radio partners, Sirius XM Channel 211, locally here in Southern California, the mightier 1090. Want to say hello to them. Also, want to say hello because we're getting set, as you know, coming up on Monday to start streaming on Peacock. Want to say hello to Michael Smith and Michael Holly, our new neighbors.
All right.
In the lineup for Peacock. Their new show, which is going to debut next month, will be coming on right after ours. We're going to be on after Dan. Also, want to say hello to everybody at Peacock who's doing a little test run right now on our show. Want to say hello to them by putting out the new Peacock mug that I have right here on my desk that I swiped off of Mike Del Tufo's desk because for some reason he got it before I did.
I mean,
so you're wondering what happened to your Peacock mug?
Rich, you'll be gone, and I'll have it back over.
What do you mean I'll be gone? What are you talking about?
After the show, I'll be there.
What do you think? Am I closing on a boat that I don't know about?
Yeah, jeez, Mike.
I mean,
am I going to go? I'm just glad that you just
I knew immediately.
Closed with the fishes rather than slept with them.
Yes.
Okay.
Not on the face, okay?
You know me. I'm kidding.
Want to say, so I got a Peacock mug right here.
All right.
There we go. I'll give you your Peacock mug back. Like, literally, you can't focus on the show. I can sense it over here.
Yeah, he's like so panicked and rattled right now because
he couldn't close on his boat.
He doesn't have the mug.
Yeah, no. You don't close on a boat in one day, people.
The boat had something wrong with it.
It's not as easy. It's like a house.
There were 3 closings yesterday, though.
Hey, now.
The Tampa Bay Lightning, Boston Bruins, Colorado Avalanche, they all had closeouts yesterday. Congratulations to them.
Hey, now.
They have moved on. The Islanders and Dallas Stars can close out tonight the Washington Capitals and Calgary Flames this evening. The Avalanche, well, what a way to close out it. Coyotes, thanks for playing, unfortunately, a 7-1 final.
Yikes.
All of this can be seen on NBCSN, where you can see us right now. So we say hello to everybody out there. The NBA playoffs going down later on today. We've got some second-round games going on later on today. We'll see if the Lakers can tally one against the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if the Bucs can tally one against the Orlando Magic. The Rockets and the Thunder. We'll see James Harden out there against his former teammate and Chris Paul. You got the Heat and the Pacers happening. Yesterday, your Celtics.
Oh, man.
Series
is over.
I think the last Philadelphian that's been on the ropes quite like this was Rocky Balboa, right?
Good night, Irene.
What's going on with the look, they missed Ben Simmons, but even with Ben Simmons, he and Embiid were kind of like the old oil and water, and you got to wonder if this is the end of the way the Sixers have been constructed from their coach, maybe even their general manager. I don't know.
I think it's time to blow up the process.
The process has got a serious kink in it right now. As 128-101. I mean, this just was.
Boston also didn't miss. I think they shot almost 50% from 3.
And this is something with Hayward, on the shelf for a while. Yeah. This is something obviously we'll talk about with Chris Mannix, our first guest coming up in about 15 minutes' time. And another thing to talk about with Chris is I'm getting all set to be, look, here I am, enjoying the NBA in the bubble, enjoying watching the action. enjoying that this is playoff basketball, enjoying the NBA's return in a big, bad way, thrilled and delighted. And here comes to pierce my bubble enjoyment, the draft lottery, which, is just, we all know that the Knicks karma will come home to roost some way tonight.
We're
because the Knicks karma, thanks to the worst owner in sports. What's the word for the Knicks karma? Oh, it sucks. That's right. It totally sucks. That's right. Can't wait for that. So, do the Warriors welcome LeVar Ball and his family into their lives tonight if all things work out for the Golden State Warriors, who we all know had a dreadful year due to injury and
so the
other
Warriors,
circumstances? We all know that they're still water skiing behind every possible yacht.
Fact.
With, by the way, the brother of Seth, who had a great game last night for the Mavericks.
You want to do this now? I have all the odds.
No, we'll do this later on.
percentages.
We'll do this later
Okay.
on. It's something that we'll just kind of touch upon on Mannix before. All you need to know, though, is David Griffin's got a chip in a chair, which means that guy who always gets the first overall pick, even though the odds are against. Never count that guy out from having the ping pong balls bounce his way. Just all you have to do is just look at Zion Williamson in a Pelicans uniform, talking about the major domo of the New Orleans Pelicans, who also got the number 1 overall pick a couple of times with Cleveland, right?
Oh, yeah. Kyrie Irving, Anthony Bennett.
So we'll talk about that with Chris Mannix later on. And another thing I'm kind of, want to pull on this thread here, because we're beginning to see it. We're beginning to hear it. And I think we're going to end up hearing it from the NBA to the NFL season that appears to be going off just fine. So far in training camp, pads are on, and we're not hearing the word COVID at all right now. That COVID list is not growing, and guys have been in pads for 3 days, and they've been testing every day. And I know normally it takes a few days to incubate, and we're going to hold our breath over the weekend and the earlier parts of next week as 11 on 11s are happening in practice. But it looks like the NFL season is going to go down. Knock on wood if you're with me. By the way, that's a year old now. That was last year's Hard Knocks. Feels like 10 years ago, by the way.
Feels forever ago, man.
So the fact that we are seeing sports now, and we'll take it any way we can get it, but we're seeing sports now in the proverbial vacuum, like in an actual vacuum. We're seeing it in 2 bubbles in the NHL and the NBA, and John Tortorella, getting bounced with Columbus, was uninterested in talking about what it was like in the bubble. Still reeling from getting the season ending in 5 games to Tampa Bay. And we'll play that soundbite later on. That we're seeing what it's like to have no home court, home field advantage. Home ice, home court right now, and soon we'll see home field. I guess baseball. We're seeing what it's like to be played in a vacuum. I know that all the teams are playing in their home stadiums, and one would think that when you're playing day in and day out, there is some form of an advantage to being at home as opposed to being on the plane and being in a hotel. Traveling and being in a hotel right now has to be completely different than any other Major League Baseball experience in previous years, obviously. So I'm thinking there could still be a home field advantage in baseball, just in the fact that you're staying at home. There are, as we all know, ground rules that your stadium is different from everybody else's stadium, and you're comfortable playing in your stadium, and you're in your own facilities. So there's a certain comfort level. There might be some advantage in baseball. But we're going to see in the NFL, obviously staying at home as opposed to being on the road might be somewhat of an advantage. And I do know that Kansas City's planning on having, 22% of Arrowhead filled, and Jerry Jones is going to want to fill up AT&T with as many Texans as he possibly could, right?
Yeah.
So I understand that we may hear some fans, and the NFL is already talking about allowing the noises of fans to be pumped into a stadium. Did you hear about that? That they're considering this?
Yeah, I did.
So there might be that. But I would proffer to say that week 2, when Brockman's New England Patriots visit Seattle, that will be a completely different experience that would afford New England a better chance of winning than that entire stadium being filled up with full-throated 12s. I think we're seeing right now in the NBA what it's like to have no home court advantage. Although Luka did get 5 fouls on him last night, like they were playing at the Staples Center against the Clippers.
The officiating has been suspect.
Well, I mean, so at least we know
some
that
things stay the same,
right? But there's no influence of the home crowd,
right?
At all,
right?
And I think we're seeing that, and I think it's anybody's tournament in the NBA, with the exception, I guess, of the Sixers. I mean, the Nets did have a good performance yesterday, and the Raptors, God bless them, they just keep on keeping on.
They're so good,
right?
Man, nobody talks about them either.
No. Well, maybe soon enough. You know, and the Jazz evened things up with the Nuggets, and we all know, again, last night, as I'd mentioned, the Mavericks just poured it on the Clippers. Just poured it on. Paul George had a dreadful night shooting in the bubble. Just poured it on. It could be. Why can't the Celtics go on some sort of run right now and take everybody out? Why can't your C's do such a thing, Chris? They can.
They can. If they shoot like they did last night, they can beat anybody.
This is anybody's tournament.
I agree.
And I am wondering if in the NFL, what that's going to be like this fall. If we do not have fans in the stands, and I know some places will have it, but Arrowhead full-throated is not the same as 22% of them.
No way.
And the interesting thing is, like, even though Dallas fans travel everywhere, I mean, it'll be fascinating to see what stadiums, what the road teams look like in terms of being represented in the stands if fans are allowed in the stands in the NFL. I mean, I think that personally is a pipe dream, and it's dangerous.
Yes. I also don't know how they're going to pull this off. Like, it's such a competitive advantage to say,
if you have fans.
Say Dallas plays in the NFC East, and they're allowed to have home fans, but the Eagles and Giants and Washington are not.
Yep.
So only one team in your division is allowed to have fans at home? How could the NFL allow that?
Good question. I don't know.
I mean, like the Raiders.
Other than the fact
stadium,
what are you going to tell Jerry Jones that your governor allows this to happen? Legally, it's allowed to happen. You have the protocols set up in a monster cavernous stadium that seats 100,000 people, and if you can spread 50,000 in there or 40,000 out, and actually set things up where it makes sense or fans are comfortable coming, what are you going to tell him? You can't make that money and the other people can't, but we're not going to allow you to do that? I don't know. These are good questions. Is it a competitive disadvantage for the Cowboys? I don't know, man. There's usually, ask them what happened when they were at home last year. Honestly, the Cowboys have been a better road team than a home team the last few years. Now, I know I'm having my fun, and it totally undercuts your valid point.
I'm asking a real question, like, what are they going to do?
I don't have an answer for you. All I know is I think this is beginning to happen. We're already hearing, like, which teams are comfortable playing in front of no fans in an empty gymnasium and which teams are not. You're already hearing LeBron. When was the last time LeBron played in an empty gym?
Probably in middle school.
Right? Like, when was the last time a human being hadn't wanted to see LeBron James play in person because they didn't know about him? Right? Middle school, right? And he's got to get used to it. We're already hearing that. If they lose again tonight to the Blazers, well, the Blazers have been very comfortable in the bubble, and the Lakers, as you know, pre-bubble, current bubble. We're hearing this conversation begin now already. And we like front-loading you with information here. So, and that's coming around the corner in the NFL. It's coming around the corner, and thank goodness it is.
3 weeks from tonight.
Oh, my word.
Chiefs and Texans.
Yeah, there's right there. Look at this with the Lakers. Look at that.
Wow.
Field goal percentage of the 2-point variety. There was nobody better field goal percentage and only one team better making 2-pointers in the league before COVID hits. Now they're in the bubble and they can't shoot straight. And they better start shooting straight because the Blazers just don't stop shooting. And then they got a guy who sees the basket like he's making a layup when he walks over half court. And the Blazers, give up offensive rebounds like it's going out of style, and the Lakers still couldn't crack 100 against them in game one because of the missed threes and some free throws. And we'll see if the free throws here and the missed threes there, they make one more three and they make those free throws, and then they're up one game. We'll see if that theory gets tested again tonight. I'll be tuned in, I'll tell you that. Chris Mannix again first up. He will be joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show from Sports Illustrated. He is bubbled up. Oh, our buddy Pro Football Hall of Famer Jerome Bettis is here because he's got a new program with the Bus Stops Here Foundation, as well as the Great NFL Foundation and the Ford Motor Company. He's Mr. Detroit, Jerome.
I've heard that.
There's an online learning program that he is taking part in. We love Jerome, and he will admit again that he went to the wrong school from the state of Michigan.
The greatest school in America.
Rob Riggle is going to join us. We had the very funny Jake Johnson on on Tuesday to talk about the same show he's coming on to talk about, Hoops on Netflix. It's going to start streaming an animated series that's not for children. I Zoomed with Rob a couple days ago. It was a very fun conversation. Driving into Dodger Stadium, Justin Turner will join us of the 18-8 Los Angeles Dodgers. There's the best record in baseball.
They are good.
And as you can see, there's Bruce Arians joining us at 2:20, coming off the practice field with Brady and Gronk. BA will be joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show, catch up with one of my favorites. And I can't wait to talk to Justin Turner about Tuesday, July 28th, 2020 in Houston, Texas, when this happened. There should be a statue out of Dodger Stadium of this very person making this very look.
Right next to Jackie Robinson.
And as we all know, it was on a shoe that Trevor Bauer was going to wear for the Cincinnati Reds last night.
It's perfect.
One shoe had that face on it, and the other shoe had the words "Free Joe Kelly" on it. And Trevor Bauer says that Major League Baseball caught wind and saw and say, if you lace those up, you will not only not be able to play, you will get possibly suspended and fined for it.
That's insane.
I mean, come on.
Get over yourself, Major League Baseball.
So maybe we'll drop that on Justin Turner, as well as the following question. You tell me, I like betting questions with you, Chris.
Of course.
Don Bowie, would you mind taking Chris Brockman's camera? Because I can't wait for this. So, Justin, how good is Mookie Betts? So, Justin, now that you see Mookie up close and personal, where does he rank in terms of excellence and personification of five-tool greatness? How good is Mookie as a teammate, and what's he like?
He's amazing. He's one of the best Red Sox players I've ever seen.
If you were the owner of the Red Sox, would you have paid him, Justin?
You think?
I would have gave him Mahomes money. Like, what are we doing?
Mahomes money. You would have renamed the stadium Fenway.
All I'm saying is top of hour 3 when Justin Turner joins us. It's going to be good. Don't miss it. When a host says something like that, tune in at this point. I don't want it to be construed that you could tune out any other point. I'd like you to stay tuned from here on out. Again, we're on NBCSN, so we say hello to that audience. I know the Peacock folks are hard at work making sure that Monday's launch goes excellently, so they are shadowing our program today. I have Mike Del Tufo's Peacock mug right here. When we come back, Chris Mannix will join us from the Orlando bubble from Sports Illustrated, talking NBA and tonight's draft lottery and more in a moment. Okay, so I'm straight up with the YouTube streamers as well as talking to our friends at SiriusXM. On Monday, when we're on Peacock, which everyone who's streaming us live on YouTube and have been watching us streaming live on YouTube, Peacock is free. It's available on the web. So if you are currently watching us on a desktop, on a computer, on a YouTube stream, Peacock is available on the web. There's just a different website, essentially, other than the one that you are watching us and streaming us right now, okay? So if you are used to, hey, I'm a YouTube streamer and I'm sitting on a computer and I'm watching it, same thing. It's just
they want to chat, they could chat with me on my phone.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah,
Will you give out your number?
Hold up a second.
So
okay.
all I'm saying is
DJ.
starting Monday.
Burner phone time.
Yeah.
We will be in this 2-minute period, of which how much time is left? Do we know? About a
probably
minute?
a minute and a half.
All right, very good. We will be on commercial break on Peacock. The commercial breaks last 2 minutes. That's it.
Fast.
Boom. It'll be gone before you know it. And we appreciate you staying tuned through it, not only because we've got great stuff right after it, but those are the sponsors that allow us to be streamed on Peacock for you. And without those sponsors, there are no mugs for me to pilfer off of Mike Del Tufo's desk.
I mean, you are just.
There are no pads of Post-it notes that I forgot to snag off of
TJ's desk.
For my kids.
I think he glued the mug down.
Oh, he's got the mug too?
No, that mug's mine. He offered it.
That mug's yours, but I'll
give
gladly,
you back the
because
mug.
I'm a team
Mike.
player, I will give
You
you
guys
my
know
mug.
me
got
with
mugs.
swag.
Don't worry
I
about
get
it.
sad. It's like
So then when we come back from Peacock, we'll be on live on Peacock, but we'll be gone for the Sirius XM audience
exactly.
and for our Mightier 1090 audience. Okay. Time we welcome back our Peacock audience. That's the way it's going to roll, right? That's the way we're going to roll. And now, at this point, you will know to the second
Yeah, we're back.
how much we're back on the NBCSN audience, as well as our radio audience, which is still away right now.
Like right now, I'm listening to the.
I don't care what you're listening to.
1090.
I just want to make sure that you know how much time. Do you know how much time till we're back?
Nah, I'll tell you right now.
So
Hang
you,
on,
Don
stand by.
Bowie, you will know. Mike Del Tufo will not know. Okay. So Don is going to be in charge of the clock, and I'll be very honest with you. I don't mind him at that steering wheel.
Okay.
Rather than you.
I mean,
I truly love you.
failed math
You
a
know
lot
that.
of times.
You know that. But right now, I think your mind is still on the fact that your
No.
boat didn't close yesterday.
No,
or
it
the
doesn't
fact that I
close in
snagged
one
this
day.
mug off your desk.
No, I
Which
think
is he
I'm-
more
Oh,
distracted about?
The
no,
mug?
No mug.
mug or the boat?
No boat.
no, the
Well,
boat I knew was going to take a
obviously
little
the
while.
mug.
The mug,
So,
I'm really.
so wait,
that's-
your boat is kind of like the analogy about election day, that people think that there's going to be by election night
Exactly.
a decisive winner, and we might not, and folks should know that. Same thing about closing on a boat.
You guys thought you were going to be decisive. That was done. Boat mine.
I thought you were going to drive the boat to work today.
Like right here, dock it outside the show.
Do you hear Don's count right now?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on the program. See, now that we should have had music coming back.
No, I know.
right there.
It's the
It's all
first time
good.
I've done that
It's
with the
all
three
good.
different.
Mike Del
it's
Tufo
like-
is back from trying to close his boat.
It's a lot of. I mean,
Welcome back to NBCSN. Welcome
gotta
back
get
on
used
the
to it,
Rich
Rich.
Eisen Show radio networks. We're going to be on Peacock. I've got a mug here to prove it. We start on Monday. We start on Monday streaming. We will be on after Dan Patrick every single day, just like the old days. I feel like this is the end of The Godfather Part 2, and we're seeing those flashbacks, right? Right? Where the Don comes back in, and we're all having breakfast. We're all having like dinner, like there's no problem. So I can't wait for that. Every single day you can watch us streaming on Peacock, and somebody who knows Dan's show and our show very well, who I think deep down feels like he's cheating on Dan every single time he appears on the Rich Eisen Show. But that might just be a me thing. That's a YP, right? That's a your problem, not an MP.
Well, it's an
What's
MP.
an MP for me?
It's an
I see.
MP for you,
Chris
yeah.
Mannix from the Bubble in Orlando, joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show from Sports Illustrated. How are you, Christopher?
I do, Rich, feel like I'm doing something unsavory every time I appear on the show. It does feel like infidelity in a way.
You know what, though, Chris? I feel like you and I have our own chemistry, or chemistry, as Dan might point out, and and I think it's fine. I think there's enough Mannix to go around. It really is, Chris. I really believe that.
I think so. We do have to find our true basketball connection, though. Like in the Bubble the last couple of weeks,
Yes.
every time Ricky Rubio made a shot, I would take a picture of him and send it to Dan and just alert him that Ricky Rubio is the greatest point guard in the history of international basketball.
Now,
I would flood his text messages with.
I understand that you've been dying on that Rubio Hill for quite some time, Chris.
Oh, so long. So long that I don't even remember when it began, in fact.
So let's start with life in the Bubble. Are you there for the duration, Chris? Are you locked in there for the duration?
No, I've been here since July 12th I'm planning on tapping out in early September. We have another writer from SI, Mike Rosenberg, that's going to come in and finish it. I really wanted to be here for when I'm here, like the beginning stages when all 22 teams were here, and some of the stories you can write off of that. I'll still cover it, but it's it's less, to me, it's less valuable as a reporter, as the teams get whittled down to 8 and 4.
Right. So, what has life been like? Weird? How would you describe the bubble experience for everybody? Because part of the conversation we're already hearing now that the rubber is meeting the road, elimination rounds have arrived. The conversation about teams that are comfortable in the bubble as opposed to teams that are not, potentially the Lakers being one of those.
Yeah, I've found that players are starting to get into something of a bubble rhythm, for lack of a better phrase. They experimented with social activities early, whether it was fishing or golf, and golf is still played by a lot of guys out there every single day. But I think players have found some sense of rhythm with, hanging by the pool and hanging out with teammates. And you've seen stuff, on social media with, Madden tournaments that the Lakers are playing, and some other teams are doing similar things as well. I think the biggest thing, and we're seeing this in the first round already, is that teams that, like Philadelphia, that go down 0-2, ordinarily, the Sixers would have, the benefit of a home crowd, in a building they went 31-4 in the regular season, try to get that momentum back. They don't have that. So these teams that go down early, they find themselves without the boost that comes with playing in front of their home crowd. So the adjustment right now is more about what you're getting and really what you're not getting from these arenas on the floor. You're going to see some of these teams really react differently as the series progresses.
Well, let's start unpacking that a little bit. The Sixers, we were having a little bit of fun, but usually there's a germ of truth in every single joke. I'm not saying they are a joke, but we were just joshing around that this is the end of the process. The process is officially needing to be 2.0, 3.0, or just blown up with what's going on with the Sixers. What do you say?
Yeah, look, every conversation about Philadelphia has to be taken with the caveat that Ben Simmons isn't playing. And Simmons is one of the best point guards in the league, an all-star, an elite defensive player. So when you lose a player of that caliber, you lose a lot. And, they're replacing him in the lineup with Matisse Thybulle, who's a rookie. Shake Milton was in the G League last year. He's their starting point guard. There's a roster element to all this that has to be taken into account. But what is inexplainable, and I was at the game against Boston last night, the effort that was displayed was just inexcusable. They got up early, but when Joel Embiid went out and Boston picked up the tempo, they just folded. They just showed no energy in the second half of that game, no effort in the second half of that game. It's easy to beat up on Brett Brown, and ultimately, if they wind up getting swept or beaten 5 games, he's probably going to pay the price. But if you're a professional player, you've got to play with more energy than that. That was just the effort was just non-existent for Philadelphia in that game. So I'm not a believer that you have to break up the Simmons-Embiid core. These are great players that are still very much in their early to mid-20s. I think you just need to find the right chemistry around them. They started this year, Rich, without shooting. They let J.J. Redick walk, Jimmy Butler left, and they didn't replace them with any capable shooters. Like, if you have 2 players like Embiid and Simmons, the other 10 guys that are in your active roster need to be shooters, all of them. And if they're not, you're not doing those players any favors out there on the floor. So to me, this starts with Elton Brand in the front office, being better at putting the right talent around those 2 players.
That said, Chris, wasn't the conversation about the Sixers pre-COVID during the 70-game regular season that we saw prior to the stoppage all about that Simmons and Embiid were not mixing well on the floor at all and might not actually be the, obviously when you've got 2 superstar players, that's what you need in the NBA, and you can add a third. That's what puts you definitely over the top potentially. But if the two superstars don't complement each other, or they can't figure it out, or it can't be figured out, that's a problem. Wasn't that the conversation about the Sixers?
It was the conversation, but I do think you have to zoom out, if you will, and look at it in the bigger picture, that the team they had last year was not brought back. And what happens, Rich, if that Kawhi Leonard baseline jumper takes one extra bounce and falls out, and the Sixers go on to win that game? Are we having an entirely different conversation? Does Philadelphia win the championship? Maybe. I mean, Toronto went on to win the whole thing. Would Philadelphia? I mean, is it really as simple as one bouncing ball changing the perception of this team? I think where Philadelphia made a huge mistake was not paying Jimmy Butler. Like, it would have been an expensive team, that's for sure, but Jimmy Butler has been brilliant for Miami this year. And the Sixers just didn't believe that in a 5-year contract, Jimmy Butler would be able to stay healthy enough and produce enough to live up to that money. That was a mistake. Butler on that team would have given them the shooting, the extra playmaking, and the gravitas they need to win, a series like they're in with Boston. That, I think this is less about Simmons and Embiid and far more about the kind of players that are being put around them.
Chris Mannix of SI, senior writer here on the Rich Eisen Show. We had your colleague from the LA Times, Tanya Ganguly, on the show yesterday. She's been covering the Lakers, as we all know, there in the bubble, mentioning that the Lakers' shooting woes in the bubble are just a matter of time till they fall. At least that's the way that Frank Vogel and the staff are taking a look at it. They're one game down now. We all know Charles on TNT is saying the sweep is coming. Are you concerned, or do you have the mindset of, okay, it's all set up, that just the shots just have to start falling?
I mean, you have to be concerned, if for no other reason than they're up against what is arguably the greatest 8th seed in NBA history. I mean, the Blazers are not an 8th seed. They're a conference finalist masquerading as an 8th seed because of everything that happened pre-pandemic with the health of their roster. So you're not going up against, a group of stumble bums that are not going to be able to produce like they did in game one. All that being said, Danny Green is a proven playoff shooter. Kyle Kuzma shot 44% from three during the restart. The looks the Lakers got in game one were great ones. And every time I talk to a coach or an executive in the hallways of these hotels out here, I ask them the question, like, are you worried about the Lakers? The Lakers' struggles, are they a concern to you? And more often than not, I'd say 90% of the time, the answer has been no. Because as these coaches point out, and it's similar to what you just said, all it takes is one practice or one meeting or one quarter even for them to get it right, for these shots to start to fall. And look, they were in this game against Portland to the bitter end, shooting 15% from three. Like, that is an abomination of a number, and they were still in this game at the end. If they make 5% more of those shots, they probably win the game against Portland. I just look at the Lakers, and I think they'll make more threes in this next game. And if they do, they'll win the game and they'll win the series. I don't think Portland had a great defensive game. I think the Lakers just missed all their shots. I mean,
you mentioning that the Blazers are a conference finalist masquerading as an 8 seed. You got the Mavericks as a 7 seed, right? You've got, the Rockets right there in the middle of the pack. You see what the Jazz and the Nuggets are doing to each other. We all know the Clippers have George and obviously Kawhi and others. But this is anybody's tournament, right, in the West, wouldn't you say? Like, any of the teams I just mentioned could do it, all of them, right?
In the West and the East, too. I mean, I wrote the start of all this on Monday that it was the most wide open a field has ever been. There is no favorite in all this. It just, because of everything that's happened, it's impossible to, have any kind of confidence in predicting even a finalist from either conference. The West, though, could get especially wild. I mean, if you're the Clippers, you're at practice today, saying to yourself, we are, one stupid Kristaps Porzingis technical foul away from being down 0-2. I mean, they were up 5 in that game one. The Mavericks were before Porzingis went out, and Luka just got gassed down the stretch and couldn't hold on. The Mavericks are right there. I mean, they could have been up 2-0 in the series, and for a young team, you're giving them a lot of confidence going into this game 3. So you've got to be really anxious if you're the LA Clippers, and you've got to start making some adjustments out there, and you've got to hope that Montrezl Harrell gets his win back as we get into more of these games. You got to cross your fingers and hope Patrick Beverley can come back at some point because defensively he is really key to what they do, especially against a guy like Luka Doncic. But you've got to be really anxious if you're the Clippers, given how those first two games have gone.
What about Westbrook? Were you going to see him soon or not at all? I mean, what's the scoop on him?
Not soon from the people I talked to, within Houston. The concern in Houston is not the state of his injury right now, but the likelihood that if he comes back too soon, you get a more significant version of it. That's been kind of the message coming out of the Rockets. And look, they gave themselves a little bit of a cushion winning that game one. It gave Mike D'Antoni and that team more reason to let them, sit Westbrook on the sideline. So he's going to miss game two. And, if they win game two, it wouldn't surprise me to see them try to stretch this out and just make sure that he's fully healthy when he comes back. I mean, the Thunder have been a great story all season long, but as you saw in that game one, they just don't really have the firepower to match up with Houston in a series like this.
A few more minutes left with Chris Mannix at Sports Illustrated, senior writer, calling in from the Orlando bubble. Is the draft lottery happening in the bubble tonight? Walk me through this. What's going on with the draft lottery this evening, sir?
Yeah, the lottery is happening. It's kind of, it's unique circumstances, obviously, because it's all being done virtually. And, for the most part, for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been in that draft lottery room kind of observing, because it's kind of cool to see how the whole thing plays out. It'll be entirely different this time around. But, man, there are some high stakes in this draft lottery. I can tell you a lot of top executives out here are, kind of nervously watching, wondering if the Warriors wind up with that number one pick. The Warriors will have as much a chance as anyway. I mean, look, if you're Golden State, and look, to be clear, it's not a great draft. I mean, I don't know who's number one, whether it's Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball is in that mix. But if you have the number one pick and a big contract you can move in an Andrew Wiggins, which the Warriors have, you might be able to get somebody big. And I don't know who's available right now, but somebody always comes on the market, whether it's circumstances for a team or something else. And if you're armed with a top pick and a big contract, you can get something that get a player that fits into the timetable that Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green are on. So the Warriors are kind of sitting back right now, being goofy on social media, but they're the elephant that's not in the room, so to speak. I mean, everybody's going to be watching that draft lottery night. I guarantee you, just cringing if the Warriors wind up with number one.
Well, let's stir it up. Give me some names that you think the Warriors could add with a Wiggins dangle, as you say, because they've got the number one overall pick in their back pocket.
It's just hard to say right now,
right?
Because the teams I've talked to, like a lot of teams, are going into next season believing they're contenders, at least for a playoff spot. I mean, look at the Western Conference, Rich. Who's the worst team in the Western Conference next year? I mean, probably Minnesota, you'd say off the bat, but the Timberwolves will have, 2 All-Stars in Towns and Russell and a young group that gets better. Look up and down those standings. It's a fight 1 through 15. So I don't see a team outside of maybe San Antonio that could be looking to move off, a player, and you don't trade the top pick for LaMarcus Aldridge. So it's hard to sort of see the landscape right now. But as it always happens, a team changes direction in the offseason, maybe makes a coaching change, or a new GM decides that a player is not as valuable as the other previous regime thinks he was. So somebody's going to be out there, and the Warriors are going to be more armed than anybody else to go and get that player.
Okay, so how's it going to look tonight? Like the deputy commissioner Mark Tatum in his basement on one Zoom, and then the ping pong balls on another Zoom, and then nervous executives on their own Zoom boxes. The Knicks will try to choose somebody from their past that actually can stand being in the same room as James Dolan to stand there and try and be lucky for them, and won't be lucky because Dolan's karma sucks. I've set this all up for you. Chris, is that what it's going to look like tonight, essentially? Did I lay it out?
Basically. I mean, it's everybody beaming in virtually. Each team will have their usual, kind of goofy representative, from that group, and it'll play out like that. But it's just going to be fascinating to see who winds up with those. I mean, the Knicks, I think they've got their eye on LaMelo Ball, and God, I mean, if LaMelo and Lavar wind up in New York, I mean, I don't know. I don't
Please
know how
let that happen.
Like
my gosh.
Please.
Oh, my God. Lavar from Los Angeles, you're on the Fan? Is that what you're saying? Like, that's the way it's going to
play it out a little bit further, Rich. I mean, you put LaMelo in New York, and you've got Tom Thibodeau there as well. You know, the idea of LaVar Ball lobbing grenades at Tibbs from, section 115 of the Garden, once they get back in there, that's got to make some – I know it makes some Knicks executives extremely nervous. So it's that's a scenario that could be some interesting copy for the tabloids in New York.
I should say so. Chris, stay safe in the bubble. We'll chat again soon. I always appreciate our conversations. Thanks, brother.
Anytime, Rich.
You got it. That's Chris Mannix. You can follow him at SI Chris Mannix on Twitter. By the way, he dropped a phrase. I looked over at you. I thought you'd write it down. He dropped a phrase that could be fill in the blank for. Actually, I've come up with it. Bubble rhythm.
Yeah, I did.
You know what that sounds like?
I did.
That sounds like the title track on a JD and the Straight Shot CD.
I thought it
like
was
James Dolan's going to sit down with his guitar and his schmecky hat and his schmecky scarf and his age-inappropriate girlfriend and sit down and strum out the new tune Bubble Rhythm.
I thought it was like...
God, that man sets me off.
Rejected Janet Jackson album titles.
Bubble Rhythm. Hey, either teams are in... Mavs are in a bubble rhythm. Your Celtics are in a bubble rhythm. The Raptors are. It sure looks like the Blazers are. The Suns were and almost damn near made it. And other teams are not, and they better find it because they will be going home without the old passport to fun for round 2. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. We're back here on NBCSN. We're going to be streaming on Peacock starting on Monday. Look at that lineup. All right, everybody. Bubble Rhythm.
Bubble Rhythm.
I just did use the words age-inappropriate girlfriend, right? On national television?
Yeah, Rich.
I always thought he was married.
Dude.
No.
Come on. I don't believe so.
Love is love.
I don't believe so. Is he married? Because he's old. If he is, then
I mean, Wikipedia says he has a spouse since 2002.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, maybe they have an arrangement. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. By the way, did you see Ballmer was in the bubble last night?
I
First
did
shot
see that.
Of Ballmer.
I did see that.
Ballmer had
With
the N95 on behind the glass.
Yeah.
Is that so? Does every team's owner have his or her own bubble? Right? Is there like an owner's bubble instead of an owner's box?
I thought for sure
bubble?
they were going to show Cuban right after that, but they did not. I don't think Mark is there.
They got to all be there.
I think isn't Cuban shooting like Shark Tanks and stuff like that?
Shark Tanks in Vegas, but they were done. They're done.
Oh, okay.
They were shooting. Owner's bubble.
844-204-RICH is the number to dial. We'll be taking your phone calls. YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show, at Rich Eisen Show, Twitter and Instagram, and so much more. So at this point in time, again, starting on Monday, we'll be back on Peacock after just 2-minute long breaks. That's all they are. Just 2 minutes long. And again, I know YouTube streamers out there, you're used to having just ads at the beginning of watching, and then that's it. The 2 minutes are, I mean, I watch 30 Rock on Peacock. The commercial breaks, they literally go very fast. I know you might sound like I'm selling you something. I am. I want you to sell you on Peacock because it's free, and it's the same desktop that you are watching us on right now on YouTube. Same exact desktop. So just put in a different URL. It is free. We are free. It does not cost you a dime to watch us. PeacockTV.com. Download the app. I've got it on my phone. I've got it on my iPad. I have it on my Apple TV at home. It is so easy to use. And again, we're on after Dan, just like we were for 5+ years on Audience. Florio's on before DP, and then you see Brother from Another. That's Michael Smith, Michael Holly, and PFT PM. PM.
All right. Catch you up on the day's news.
Is that a sleepier Mike Florio? I don't know what that is.
More hairspray.
Wow. Don't mess with Florio, please. Okay? That's all I ask. Don't. Be back on a second. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. We are back on NBCSN. There are, and on our Rich Eisen Show radio network. Again, Don Bowie, our EP, would you mind putting up the Peacock list of shows again? We're going to be on Peacock. NBC Sports on Peacock is the name of the standalone channel. We're live. I'm telling you, Peacock is amazing because there is a live channel function on a streaming app. It's not just, you can get movies, you can get TV shows, you can get originals. You can get TV shows from NBC that we're just on and watch it on Peacock. You can get movies and watch it on Peacock. But you can get live stuff that is not available on other streamers, including a channel that, NBC News has a channel, the Today Show has a channel, NBC Sports is going to have a channel, and you could see, starts with Florio and PFT Live every morning, bright and early at 7 Eastern, then DP, then us, just like we were on Audience back-to-back for all those years. PFT PM coming in September to wrap the whole weekend day up at 6 Eastern time. We're assuming that's just Florio twice a day or late night Florio. I don't know. We'll get more details.
I would think the early show sets up the day.
And then before that, after us, Brother from Another, 3 Eastern time, Michael Smith will be hosting that show along with, who knew, Michael Holley, who used to be TJ Jefferson's roommate in college. Is that a true story, TJ? Our social media grand maester, TJ Jefferson?
We went to college together. We lived together for a little bit of time, but we were on the same floor. I remember when I got to college, I met a few people. I was a journalism major.
Okay.
He was older. Within 5 minutes of meeting me, this guy goes, "Oh, there's someone you need to meet." Mm-hmm. And he takes me to Holly's room, and we struck up a friendship.
You struck up a friendship. So it's okay. So it's not like things that he wouldn't want people to know, so he'll be loath to call into this program.
I know things, Rich.
You know things about Michael Holley.
I know things about everybody.
Oh, my gosh.
Everybody.
All right.
Yo.
Very good. So there's connective tissue from our show to the next.
Yeah.
Who knew?
It's this whole Peacock thing.
Okay, there we go. So we're going to have a lot of fun starting on Monday. And Mike, do you want me to just walk this mug over there, or can you wait one more commercial break?
Hold on to that to the end of the show.
Oh, really? I get to keep this Peacock mug for the whole day.
Then just don't glue it to the desk, and we'll be good.
Will not. It's funny that I have the mug, the Rich Eisen Show mug with the actual coffee in it. You can't see underneath the ticker. I have no coaster underneath that, but the mug that has nothing in it, I have it under a coaster. I'm just trying. You know what? We're trying out on Peacock right now. We're running through things. We're working through kinks. Don Bowie, can you also now put up the draft lottery possibilities for this evening? Brockman, you've got that over there.
Yeah,
as
so
well,
I have also what their percentage is to land in the top 3. So these are their percentages for the number 1 pick. They changed it recently, so now 3 teams each have a 14% chance.
Yes, they did that just in time.
Not great odds.
They did that just in time for the Knicks job to have tanked with over 60 losses. They changed that rule.
So they won't.
So the Knicks didn't have a 25% chance of getting Zion Williamson. Instead, it was just the mere old 14% shot.
Yeah. So the Warriors, 14% to get the number 1 pick, but 40% to get in the top 3. Cleveland and Minnesota, they're likely to land in the top 3.
Curry, Clay, Draymond,
possibly
Wiggins, right? Steve Kerr's still there.
Steve Kerr
still that beautiful, that beautiful.
Still there, brand new.
Bob Myers is still
brand new
shopping for the groceries, right? Okay.
Yeah.
How many yachts can they water ski behind? Although I'm sure Kerr would basically be like, "Yeah, you sit through that season." I mean, they
looked pretty brutal.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Looked pretty rough.
They did, and so it was at least shortened for them. Can you put that back up again, Don? So you take a look at the Knicks at 9%.
Yeah, so the Knicks are 9%
what
to get
about
the
being
first
top
pick.
3?
Top 3, 28%.
Okay.
So you're saying there's a chance.
And I like Thibodeau. Again, I've liked the last 2 Knick coaching hires. I liked Fizdale. I don't know why he had to go.
Yeah. You talked about the Pelicans earlier and David Griffin.
For data. Thank you, Coach Fizdale.
They're only 1.2% to get the top pick, 4% for the top 3.
But again, David Griffin, the GM there now, has won the draft lottery 3 times in his career. 3 times.
Good luck.
And the Grizzlies pick could go to the Celtics.
Yes.
How many picks does Danny Ainge own of other people? Are we out? Are we finally through that phase?
No, well, this might be the last year. They have a ton this year.
Don't they still have some of the? Do they have any Nets picks from Garnett and Pierce? So they're finally through all of that.
Let me check. I think this might be the last year of all those picks.
Because I don't think you're allowed to cash in picks of somebody who's been on ESPN for 3 years, right? Man, oh man, that is going to be I don't know why the draft lottery for me has always been just it's fun. Even though, like, could you imagine if they did that in the NFL?
Oh, that
could
would be
you
amazing.
imagine
the lottery for the
NFL? It would
NFL?
not be amazing. It would be far
great.
from amazing.
You don't think it would be awesome?
It'd be awesome.
No, it would not be awesome.
Why?
Because you earn every last inch of your draft position.
Tankosaurus Rex?
Then there's no tanking in the NFL.
I know, I'm joking.
I mean, we even joke. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
No.
The team that tanked last year to the point where I used the words tank for Tua were thrown out the minute Tua looked off a safety and beat Georgia in a national championship game for Alabama, which seems like 19 years ago now.
Like
tank for Tua. I even accused, I won't even use the royal we, I accused them. We all did in the media, the Dolphins of tanking. Yeah. When you and even if you think the Dolphins were absolutely tanking for Tua, right? They ship off their left tackle and one of their top receivers to the Texans right before the beginning of a season. Who does something like that? They then ship off one of their best defensive players, young defensive players, in week 3, right? They sent Minkah Fitzpatrick up north to Pittsburgh for a number 1 overall pick in the middle of a season. They tell Kenyon Drake, very talented young man, see ya, go. We'll send you to Arizona in the middle of the season. So when you keep pulling all these parts away from your team, you're giving less ammunition to your coach to win games.
They didn't account for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is
tank proof.
Tank proof.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is that when it all comes down to it in the NFL, grown-ass men want to win football games. They're not going out to purposely get better draft position. Coaches aren't coaching for that. Brian Flores wasn't coaching for that. And they found a way, and they even upset the AFC seeding apple cart going out the door.
But the Colts 100% tanked.
For Andrew Luck?
Yeah.
Dude, excuse me.
Yeah.
No, they did not. No, they did not. Because I was there the night on Thursday Night Football.
When they almost blew the number 1
I
pick.
was there the night on Thursday Night Football on the set of NFL Network, sitting next to Marshall Faulk on one side and Michael Irvin on another side. The Houston Texans had won there for the first time. They won their division with T.J. Yates as their quarterback because they had a big problem staying healthy, just clearly as Indianapolis had that year because Peyton had the neck problem. And the Colts, on that Thursday Night Football game, I interviewed Jim Irsay on live television before, flat out asking him, are you tanking for Andrew Luck? He said
What's
no.
he going to admit to it?
No. But I'm just saying that's how much the entire nation was talking about it.
Right.
Reggie Wayne, who was a future free agent, we were all assuming this was his last game there because why the hell would he re-sign there with all that garbage that was going on right there? And what did they do? Won the game with Reggie Wayne catching the winning touchdown pass, proving once again at the time that the Texans just, no matter the circumstances, could win in Indianapolis and beat the Colts. They just couldn't.
Can't beat the Colts.
Peyton Manning had neck surgery. He could literally not hold his head up without it being surgically repaired. And the Texans couldn't beat that Colts team. And the fans were going crazy. And all we could do on the set was look around and just say, do they not realize that Andrew Luck is sitting right there? I guess they probably thought at the time, well, at least RG3's coming. No big deal. The way he was tearing things up in Baylor at the time. So there's really no tanking in the NFL. There really is no. I mean, now Jacksonville's looking like Yannick Ngakoue is rumored to be on the move today.
To Baltimore, maybe.
Or the Jets, I heard, too.
Oof.
Lombo, our friend Lombo has been all over that on Twitter. You could sit here and say the Jaguars are pulling all these pieces out from Doug Marrone.
You make yourself look good to get the number one pick.
I know you could keep saying that
those guys don't want to lose.
If you don't put the fuel in the car won't drive as well. And thus, if you're looking to buy a new car, and that's the way that you actually go shopping for a car, or have to, because that's the construct of car shopping, this is the way that you tank in the NFL. But Doug Marrone definitely knows if he loses this job that he has in Jacksonville, who's going to give him a head coaching job anytime soon? Jay Gruden just got there as the offensive coordinator. He doesn't want to tank. And they may have a tank-proof quarterback in Gardner Minshew because he just looks up. I mean, is he shotgunning beers in practice and stuff like that? I mean, this guy, he literally is Burt Reynolds back in the state of Florida. And
southbound and down.
So there's no tank in the NFL, and you earn your position. I'm telling you what, if my team is 3-13, I am not watching some blue blood that just happened to go 6-10 out of the blue, have one ping pong ball bounce their way, and they get Trevor Lawrence. No, thank you. No, thank you.
But for us, that's a fan perspective.
Yeah.
For us in the media, it would be amazing.
It would be. I mean.
Well, I am a fan first, Christopher.
Oh, yeah?
No, thank you.
Hold on. Let me see who went 6-10 last year.
No, thank you. Some blue blood who's 7-9, gets that 0.5% chance the Grizzlies. The 1 year the Patriots go 7-9, you know Belichick's getting the ping pong ball for Trevor Lawrence. No, thank you.
Bears don't make the playoffs? You think they would rather have Trevor Lawrence this year?
You. Let the NBA do that. Hour number 2 on NBCSN and our radio network coming up. Now, coming on Monday, we will be on Peacock for another 90 seconds, right? This is our run-through that we're doing right now that YouTube is currently watching. So, what you're seeing right now, we call this bonus Rich Eisen show time.
Bonus. Ooh. Bonus coverage.
I don't know what we're calling it. But for the next, we're not Tom, we've got to call it something. No, what we're calling is Peacock television streaming show. On after Dan Patrick, before Brother from Another. And this is how we're going to be rolling. And I thought this went very smoothly today. With the exception of Mike Del Tufo coming in saying, literally, we're 60 seconds before the show. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Where's my mug?
I mean,
literally, where's my mug? He's looking around. I'm like,
you could have taken the hat. I would have been fine.
And then
with
you
the
started
mug.
walking over, TJ, like you want the mug. And I'm like, go back.
I was just trying to keep
your
the peace, Rich.
Serrano's got the mug.
That's right.
Serrano's got.
All right. So just to walk through everybody, I'm going to go get a fresh cup of Joe because I need to be fully caffeinated for my friend Jerome Bettis. Hall of Famer Jerome Bettis. Look at him.
I mean, come on.
We're going to have fun with him because he should have gone to Michigan. And he needs to put that either on a hat or say it out loud for us to use against him forevermore. We're back in a moment.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
The Blazers take down the Lakers.
Tanya Ganguly here on the Rich Eisen Show. I mean, I would ask the poll question of Tanya, please.
Yeah, Tanya, which one seed should be panicking the most?
I guess I would say the Lakers.
Laker Nation, don't worry about that.
Earlier on the show, from Sports Illustrated, Chris Mannix. Still to come, Pro Football Hall of Famer Jerome Bettis, actor and comedian Rob Riggle, Los Angeles Dodgers third baseman Justin Turner, plus Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Okay, everybody. Hour number 2 of the Rich Eisen Show on the air. We are on NBCSN, thrilled to be. And there's a couple of hockey games coming up later on today on NBCSN. And they are potentially elimination games. You got the Islanders trying to eliminate the Washington Capitals, and then the Stars trying to do the same thing to Calgary. And as you can see, the little late night pucks tonight. Right here on NBCSN. And that's how the NHL is dropping the puck in their first round of the playoffs. We had an interesting conversation with Chris Mannix from the NBA bubble in Orlando about the first round of the NBA playoffs that is all playing out. Tonight's the draft lottery. When is that, Christopher? The draft lottery is after the Bucs?
So it's coming up, after Bucs Magic tonight. So around 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern.
Okay. Jerome Bettis is calling into the show shortly. You could see that's a quadruple header. That's on the worldwide leader in sports. Later on tonight, man, at 9 Eastern. How nervous are Laker fans going to be?
They're
Very.
Don Bowie, our executive producer, just got in my ear and said, "Who's more nervous, Clippers or Lakers?" And I think it's Laker fans.
Bucks.
No,
Lakers,
it's Lakers
sure.
fans because Clippers fans are. Look, I can speak as a Clipper fan because that's as close to a Jet fan as you can get in the NBA, and you're just looking for the trap door to open at any possible time. Honestly. And I will say to Clipper fans, hey, at least when you got Kawhi, he's doing better than Favre did when he was on the Jets. Hey, Favre's coming to the Jets. This is it. We finally got our guy. I know he's old and long in the tooth, but he's going to be great. And then that didn't happen. So
I don't think Kawhi's ever gotten mono.
Kawhi's not gotten mono either. Very good. I like it. Very, very good. Again, we're going to be streaming on Peacock starting on Monday. For those who are unaware, where you've been, we've been talking about it every single day. And this is huge for us on our show. Again, it's a major venture for NBC and NBC Sports. So clearly, they're being as smart as they are as executives at NBC Sports. They are making sure that if such an important venture as Peacock and NBC Sports on Peacock, which is a standalone channel going on, they say we have to put at least some of this in the hands of Mike Del Tufo, and they nailed it. They're putting this in your hands, Mike. Are you aware that when you, between the hours of 12 and 3 Eastern on NBC Sports on Peacock, you have a very important role to play in making a very important venture for a large media company to work, correct?
Yes, Rich. And you know what? Just so you know, I have yet to open a Twitter page since Monday. I will not be on social. I have Facebook, Twitter shut down.
Okay. Very good.
I'm shut down. I'm ready.
Do we have a poll question today, Chris?
Not really.
Oh my gosh.
Should Mike buy the boat or not?
Well, there are 5 guests, so we didn't really have a lot of time to talk about poll action today.
Okay, hold on a second.
I could do the nervous one. I like the nervous one. Lakers, Clippers, Bucks. Which fan base is most nervous? If that.
Well, I mean, we kind of did that yesterday in a way.
Well, we just did panicking because the Lakers and Bucks both lost, but now the Clippers appear to be in big trouble, and like Mannix pointed out, they're a Porzingis ejection away from being down 2-0.
Okay. Do you want some of the names that Mannix threw out there? Who would you take with the first overall pick in the NBA draft?
Sure. I think a lot of casual fans don't even know
who they are.
Who these guys are. Like Wiseman, remember, got shut down. His season got shut down after a handful of games at Kentucky.
We didn't even have March Madness.
Anthony Edwards, I mean, with all due respect to Sarah, I don't think anyone's watching Georgia basketball. And then LaMelo Ball played in Australia.
That's right.
So, I don't know. How about should the NFL have a draft lottery?
Go for it.
Oh, yeah.
Not a shot. No way.
Yes.
Oh, really? I think that's coming back big time, yes.
Yeah, that's coming back, yes.
Yeah,
the top 5 teams
For non-playoff teams.
Non-playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to come.
percentages?
I think it's going to come back. Resoundingly, yes. All right, at Rich Eisen Show right now. Give us a call.
Give me your case why you like it.
What do you mean? Because it helps create more chaos, and it's more fun.
Like if the 15 got the number 1 pick, it'd be great. Or like
just looking at last year's standing, like the Bears were 8-8. You don't think if the Bears won the lottery suddenly and have the chance at the number 1 pick now, how different their franchise would look going into 2020? They definitely wouldn't have traded for Nick Foles, and they probably would have let Trubisky walk.
But there's no
They could have had Joe Burrow.
There's no reason why the NBA does this to prevent teams from tanking. Literally saying, you know what, we need to see what we have in our 12th man on the roster, so start losing games over and over and over again. They need to do this to prevent that. The NFL does not have that problem. There is no reason to introduce anything to do with luck in the NFL draft.
It'd be fun, though.
I am sorry.
It's fun.
It is not fun. As a matter of fact,
it would be
infuriating.
It would be great
for my team to be so dreadful and a diamond in the rough like Joe Burrow sitting there.
And you got to trade for
it.
it.
And that you don't have the opportunity to get him because of you've earned it. That's the way the NFL has been doing it for 70 years. But no, let's put it all in a ping pong ball or some sort of, hopper and let some team that just went 6-10 after being 14-2 for 19 straight years because of an injury or something happened, let that team get the diamond in the rough. No shot. No thank you. All right, he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's one of my favorites. I've known him damn near 20 years now. And his new Bus Stops Here Foundation is launching the second session of Check-In, a virtual youth program designed for middle school age students who, as we all know, there's a lot of remote learning going on in this country right now because of the pandemic. Our buddy Jerome Bettis stops by on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, JB?
Hey, Rich. How you doing, sir?
Better for talking to you. How's your family? Everybody good?
Everybody's doing well. We're all safe and just keeping our heads on the ground.
Okay. You're just catching up on your Rich Eisen shows during the pandemic? Is that what you're doing? On your DVR?
You got to.
Oh, my gosh. Could you imagine playing in this right
you know
now,
what?
Jerome?
This would be very scary. I'm asthmatic. So this would be a very difficult decision for me to have to decide to play or not. So this would be a scary one. But the football side of me, I think, would want to win out because you want to play, and that's what you love to do. But your health is paramount.
Of course.
So it's scary.
Well, it's not just that too. It's what you might be bringing back into the house to your kids, your spouse, to anybody in your family that's of a certain age. And I do not begrudge a single opt-out. Not a single opt-out.
No, not one. Because we don't know their scenario and their situation. Everyone's unique, and their situation is unique. And we can't assume, you just don't want to play. Y'all want to play, but it's not necessarily worth the risk. You've got to weigh it all.
Yeah, I know. And obviously for college, we don't know kids and how it might affect anybody despite being 18 or 21 or 22. And it just... I just don't know how college is doing it. I know your alma mater's gone online for the first 2 weeks. They made that announcement, but it does appear that Notre Dame football might still go, though. Jerome,
that's the scary part about the big business and football and college football. You saw what the Big Ten do. You saw what the Pac-12 did, and then it created a pretty much a rift. Now, these schools that are predominantly in the southern states are saying, "Hey, we're going to continue on," and now it creates a really uneven playing field because now you got high school recruits looking at this decision saying, well, maybe I need to rethink that and look at a school here so possibly I could play next year if this happens again. So this is a big problem that they've got to try to fix. Not only to mention that the health scenario for these kids that they're going to be out on the field is still very dangerous.
Jerome Bettis, Pro Football Hall of Famer here on the Rich Eisen Show. I don't know if we've had a chance to talk since Cowher got in.
No, I don't think so.
You know, I mean, what is your bust going to say to his when the lights go out?
My bus would say, Coach, you know, you should have got me the ball just a little bit more.
Okay.
You should have got it to me a little bit more, man.
Well, I mean, why do you think he's Hall of Fame worthy, JB? I mean, he got in along with Jimmy Johnson, and we spoke to Tom Flores yesterday, and I think he's been waiting a long time. I'm wondering if you could pound the table for anybody that might think that other coaches are worthier than Bill Cowher for enshrinement.
Well, here's what you have to look at, and I think a lot of times, you know, people look at, hey, he's got 1 Super Bowl, he's got 2 Super Bowls, and I get it, I understand that. And Tom Flores, I think he should have been in a long time ago. But when I look at Bill Cowher, you look at the consistency of what his career was. Him coming in, only having been the head coach for one team, and the career that he put together, the consistency, the playoffs. I mean, I don't remember that many. I think we maybe had 1 losing season, maybe 2, his whole tenure. And that's rare to say that. So he was the model of consistency. You knew the Pittsburgh Steelers when you played them, what you were going to get is going to be physical, hard-nosed, and we won the majority of the games that we played. So if you look at his track record compared to other people, it's going to line right up with all those things. Yes, he wasn't able to win championship, the Super Bowl that the first one he went to, and he lost in a couple of AFC championship games. But the key is you put yourself in that position time after time, and so that just shows you how consistent he was as a head coach. I think maybe 5 or 6 AFC championship games, and so to be that consistent for that period of time with totally different rosters, you got to tip your hat to him.
Jerome Bettis here on the Rich Eisen Show. What are we going to get out of Big Ben this year, do you think?
That's a great question. Hopefully we get 75-80% of what the player that he has been, because you always know that he's in the back of his head, he's going to have a little nervousness about letting it go full 100%, right? Because whenever you have that type of injury, that's always in the back of your head. But I believe he has the ability, if he's 80% of himself, this is going to be an out-of-sight team, because you already have a championship-caliber defense that they proved that last year, because the defense was the only thing that kept the team 8-8 just incredibly. But now you add the receivers that are in place that have really come out and played well last year. Then you bring the running game with still a solid offensive line, a little bit older, but still really good offensive line. I think you've got a playoff caliber team if Ben is 75% of himself. If you get Ben back to close to 100% of himself, I think you've got a championship caliber football team. So I think right now the onus is how well is Ben going to be for the entire season. And I think that'll determine how good this team can really be.
Well, I got to tell you, man, if he is 75% and the more focused, team-oriented Ben Roethlisberger, where he's not on the radio and he's more focused, if you will, on his teammates in a proper way. I'll be very honest here, and that happens. Then I think you got a top 5 defense in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? You got T.J. Watt.
Championship caliber defense, no doubt about it.
I agree. I mean, T.J. Watt could be a defensive player of the year candidate, just like his bro. Bud Dupree, and on the back end, you got Minkah Fitzpatrick. And we all know the brains of the operation right there in the middle, from an outstanding institution of higher learning, the University of Michigan, in Devin Bush.
Oh, the puppy. He's a youngster. He's a youngster.
Oh, he's a youngster. But he's that youngster. I think he's all grown up, personally. I think that's, you got yourself a serious defense in Pittsburgh. You give that defense, and that defense turns people over and gets people off the field because they sack people. and you give that defense 3 touchdowns offensively. You give them 2 touchdowns, a couple field goals. You might have a championship caliber team.
That's what I'm saying. They can play against anybody in the league and have success. And if they can get the running game going, and Ben can be timely, I think another addition was Eric Ebron in the middle of the field, an area where historically the Steelers have never been very, very strong at in terms of the tight end putting pressure vertically. And I think if Ebron can bring any of that, it brings a different dimension that this team has honestly never had, and that can be scary.
Jerome Bettis here on the Rich Eisen Show. A few more minutes left with you, sir. Tell me about this virtual youth program designed for middle school age students. Obviously, we're in a pandemic. Many schools doing online learning again. Walk me through what this is and how people can get involved, JB.
Okay, well, let me just tell you how it started. It was crazy. I got a call from someone in the Steelers organization, and there was a young lady who was a teacher at training camp whose kids, when everything went to virtual learning, didn't have computers. And so we said, that can't happen. We've got to do something. So one day we raised about $35,000 for 60 kids to get computers. And at that point we realized, wait a second, there's a problem here. There's kids who aren't connected. They don't have the connectivity.
Right.
And so we came up with this program called Connecting Kids, and we went out and try to get with the community, and we've raised money, and we were able to purchase over 1,000 laptops for kids in southwestern Pennsylvania, and that was amazing. So that's been incredible for everyone. And if anybody wants to help in that regard, because now we're starting to go to Detroit, and now we want to go all over the country eventually. And people can just go to the busstopsherefoundation.org or donate to the text to bus at 71777, and that's for the Connecting Kids part. But then we said, hey, we need to provide something because now kids are out of school and they miss some of this learning. And so we came up with this check-in program. And basically, we're launching our second check-in program. And it's a second 6-week virtual enrichment session, and it's totally free. It's for kids from age 10 to 14. All they have to do is go to eventbrite.com to register. It's totally free. You've got tech innovation classes, science, video and film, math, zoology, entrepreneurship, cybersecurity, marine biology, so many other things. We've got DJ on there going, and so it's just something that we saw was an issue. Now this is for after school for kids, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, and so we just wanted to do something to help during this pandemic, and we saw that there was a small problem in terms of the technology not being affordable and the internet access. It wasn't accessible, and that digital divide was there. So we wanted to try to do something to step in and try to help with at-risk and underprivileged kids who didn't have that don't have the same opportunities that others do.
And from 4 to 5:45 p.m. Speaking as a parent of 3 small kids or 3 young kids, an hour and 45 minutes of time having spending it and filling their brains with something that actually expands the mind rather than deadens it is a great idea, and it's very welcome, and it's on Mondays and Wednesdays. Eventbrite.com. Go and search for your name, Jerome Bettis, and also the busstopsherefoundation.org is another way to find out all this stuff. Hey man, look, before I let you go, I'm really hoping that Notre Dame plays football this year. You know why?
Why?
Well, I'm hoping they play football this year. And
Be careful, Jerome. You're walking into it.
He knows.
I'm waiting for it.
You're walking into it, bud.
Look, Jerome Bettis, I don't know his birthday, but off the top of my head, but I'm assuming it definitely isn't August 17th, 2020. He wasn't born yesterday. Or 2 days
February
ago?
16th.
Okay, whatever. He knows when he calls into the show what's
coming.
happening.
I do.
Please. This is not his first rodeo. We go way back. So the reason why is you do recall last year when our alma maters faced off with one another, correct? You do remember that?
I do recall.
Okay. Do you recall that when our alma maters faced off with one another, you and I made what we would call a friendly wager?
Absolutely.
Okay, right. I don't recall what I put on the line. Whatever it was something that I was supremely confident wouldn't actually happen.
Right. And as it turns out, it didn't. Okay.
So now you do remember what you have to do, though, because your school lost.
But if you recall, I came on your show and I sang your fight song as a response to that. You forget how quickly we forget.
He did that. And did we let him off the hook?
Yes. You see how forgetful
this is ringing a bell.
You're starting to get up there in age, and I understand. I do understand.
You also went to Michigan, Jerome.
But you got to understand now, I stood up, and I stood up.
And you sang the fight song.
He did.
That's right.
I sang a Michigan fight song, if you will, okay?
The greatest fight song.
A Michigan fight song, and something that I told myself I would never do, and I did it for you as payment.
Instead of having to wear the hat,
loss.
instead of wearing the hat,
because I thought we had the hat there. We didn't have the hat there. And because we had it made up, and my business manager forgot it.
Oh yeah, you blamed your people.
We have it. I can send you a picture of it.
I would love to get a picture of it.
Okay, I will get you a picture of it. I won't be in the picture, of course.
Because just in case anybody knows or doesn't know, the hat.
I want you to know that.
The hat
I won't
said
be in the picture.
The
second time,
right?
No chance. So I did step up to the plate,
right,
and try to honor.
And the hat said what, Jerome? What are the words that are on the hat?
I don't remember. I have to look at it again.
It's supposed to say.
Remember.
I should have gone to Michigan.
You're not going to punish me a second time, but that's what you're trying to do.
Well, you know what? It's no double jeopardy. That's what he's saying.
You're trying to punish me. What did it say? I would never tell you what it said.
we were trying to get you to say it so we could keep playing.
You are very clever. I will say that. Very, very, but forgetful. And I did it on national television.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand why you never did go to Michigan. I mean, you're right there. You're right there. You're clear.
It was a better opportunity for me at Notre Dame.
Now, hold on a second, just to recharge this battery. It's because who was it? Bo? Was it Bo or was it Gary Moeller? Who's one?
So Bo Schembechler. Let me just tell you for the record. Put it on the record. What happened?
Okay.
So.
Uh-oh.
Did he hang up instead of telling the story?
I believe.
No. Say that again. Your phone. Yeah.
He went to see a running back named Ricky Powers.
Right. I remember.
Who was the number one running back in the country.
Yes.
In Ohio. And
that's right.
That sent shockwaves. I was a fullback. I was the number one fullback in the country. Yeah. But it told me where the importance was, because the tailback at Michigan is more important than the fullback position. And they were selling me on the fact that, hey, we'll play you like Leroy Horde, fullback, tailback.
Yeah.
But I knew once they signed the number one tailback in the country, I knew that my opportunities would be limited in terms of running the football. Whereas in Notre Dame, Lou Holtz's offense was based around the fullback. The fullback ran the football. All the screen passes went to the fullback. And when they went to three wide receivers, the fullback stayed in the game, and he ran the ball out of a one-back set. So it was a perfect scenario for me to go to Notre Dame, because they actually utilized the fullback much more than they did at Michigan. But I was out, and Michigan wanted me to play linebacker. Okay, that was the first reason.
You know what I hear, Jerome?
Play fullback.
You know what I hear, Jerome? Instead of a tale of woe, you know what I hear? I hear that there's a me in Jerome and an I in Bettis. That's what I hear. You can't spell Bettis without an I, and you can't spell Jerome without me. That's what I hear.
No.
That's what I hear. What about me?
That was not the case.
I.
They wanted me to play linebacker. I was only 5'10". I knew I was only going to be 5. I ended up being, just a shade under 6 foot. I knew I was going to be undersized at linebacker, and I was right. It paid off for me. So I made the right call. Had I went to Michigan, it would not have been the success, I believe, that would have come to me at Notre Dame.
Well, at least you still have great Michigan ties and Detroit roots to get the Ford Motor Company Fund involved in the Jerome Bettis Bus Stops Here Foundation launch of the second session of Check-In. Everyone go again to Eventbrite, which is eventbrite.com, and search for Jerome Bettis, which again is spelled with an I in Bettis and an M-E at the end of Jerome.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
You're the best, JB.
Love
you, man.
Rich. I appreciate it. And please remember next time I do things like this to embarrass myself, you could at least remember them. I appreciate that.
Jerome Bettis. Dropping the mic out the door. There's Jerome Bettis. Very good.
Take care.
We come back. It'll be Rob Riggle here on the Rich Eisen Show. Oh, look at that face. Look at that fresh face, Rob Riggle of Netflix Hoops. It'll be a lot of fun. Don't miss that. More laughs coming up. If you are on hold, stay on hold. I'm going to take your calls coming up next segment as well. Before the end of this hour, we're going to take your calls because we got to take Justin Turner's call at the top of our third hour.
Oh, yeah. Jerome definitely sang at our Super Bowl shows.
He did?
Yeah, for sure.
He did.
Can you get that?
I have
can
the
you
clip
send
right
that
here.
Can you send that to our at-home crew so they can get that to Del Tufo and play that on NBCSN in our final segment of either the day or this hour?
He sang.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I do remember that, but I want that not only to pay off
but
for this audience, but to have and to hold.
I have to play it, though, Rich.
To use the vowel.
Because
that's right. I got a golden dome over there.
He has come on previously and sang Notre Dame. Remember, he did that
when we were fight song
when we were in Canton, and then he paid up the bet by singing Michigan.
He knew your entire fight song. I give him credit for that.
Well, at least next year we'll have a chance for him to pay him back. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Notre Dame told Michigan that a child that's born now must wait till he or she is bar or bat mitzvahed before their next game. Make a note of that. Yeah, in 2020, in 2030.
It was confirmation now on the Notre Dame end.
Whatever. Chickens run, to use the phrase of
Chickens run.
Of
Money.
Harbaugh's
Notre
predecessor.
Dame.
Scared birds.
Brady Hoke.
Scared.
Nervous birds.
Nervous birds.
Peacock's not a nervous bird, right?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
It's a proud, beautiful bird.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, majestic bird.
Oh, I know.
Fantastic. By the way, Peacock's got a great avatar, too.
Yeah.
Or emoji, right?
Emoji.
Yeah, very good. All right. We would be back on Peacock now. Again, we're doing some run-throughs right here. So if you're watching us on YouTube.com and you're wondering why taking a break and coming back and then taking a break and coming back in 4 days, you'll understand when you watch us on Peacock. Again, it's available through the web.
Simple.
So the same way that you are taking in our show, whether it's through the YouTube app or on the YouTube website, the same thing. It's just going to be peacocktv.com. Download the app as well. And if you are watching us internationally as well, we're talking to the Peacock folks about maybe geotagging. Is that the phrase?
Yes.
Did you say that because you want to?
I just want
do you
to
know
agree
that?
with Rich. It is geotagging now.
Okay. They have said that we're going to try and attempt to geotag. And let me use this moment, if you don't mind, everyone out there, to Don. Don, so I'm going to just throw to the Rob Riggle stuff, right? And then you'll hit play on the Rob interview? Okay, that's how we'll do it. This is how the sausage is getting made, everybody. Justin Turner, because he zoomed in. That's right. We zoomed in a couple of days ago with each other.
With Riggle.
With Riggle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Justin's on his way to Dodger Stadium.
He is. I guess I should know who the Dodgers are playing tonight.
And there's very little traffic.
They were playing Seattle.
Are they playing Seattle there tonight? Okay. Very good. Yeah. We're back in a second here. Okay, everybody, welcome back. We're on NBCSN. Justin Turner's going to be calling us at the top of a third hour from the Los Angeles Dodgers, 18-8 Los Angeles Dodgers, and I've got my list of questions right here. Hey, Justin, tell me more about Mookie Betts and how good he is. Hey, Justin, do you think Mookie was worth the money? Justin, if you had a Red Sox fan eating poop sandwiches every single day, would you bring it up to him all the time?
Yes.
Watching him as your teammate? Oh, baby. Now that's day 2. That's day 30. Are you going to wear the neck scarf every day now?
Know what? I forgot.
You do know it's like 95 degrees outside, and you're wearing a neck scarf.
No, it's my mask.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good then.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. Although you do realize that those neck scarves are the least effective. As a matter of fact, Duke University says that it's worse than wearing a mask than wearing no mask. That actually makes the particles coming out of your mouth smaller, and they thus linger longer in the air and go further.
I don't know if I buy that.
Okay. You know the science better than Duke University scientists. Is that what you're saying? Your Syracuse Newhouse School of Communication degree trumps the actual scientists at Duke.
Brockman,
that's what you're saying right now.
Because you have to apply for that degree.
You know what? I took I took communication at Syracuse. I know better than Duke scientists. Got it.
I mean,
let's now send you to this conversation that was conducted just a couple of days ago. Love this guy. You know Rob Riggle very well, Christopher.
I do know Rob Riggle very
he's
well.
been working.
He finally got to meet my son the other day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Your masculine child with Sarah Tiano, with whom he does a podcast.
She took him up to visit. Yeah.
Fantastic. Rob Riggle is in a new show called Hoops on Netflix. It's an animated series, and I had a Zoom chat with him just a couple days ago. And as promised, here he is back here on the Rich Eisen Show in advance of the new animated series Hoops that will be debuting on Netflix starting on Friday. That's tomorrow. He is none other than Rob Riggle. How are you, Robert?
I'm good, buddy. Good to see you.
You two in the flesh. This is an animated show, correct? This is an animated program.
This is an animated show, not for the kids.
Not for the kids.
Let's be real clear on that.
Okay, so let's start with this right now off the bat. Not for the children.
Nope.
Put the kids to bed when you start streaming Hoops.
That's right. And if aggressive foul language, is not your cup of tea, which is totally fair, probably not going to want to see this one.
Okay, sit this one out. But I'll be honest, it is my cup of tea, even though, I'm not allowed to work blue on this program. But you play the father of a coach in this series, correct? Map this out for everybody for
Sure. It's really a murderer's row of great comedic talent. All right. So Ben Hoffman created it. Chris Miller, Phil Lord, executive producing, Jake Johnson producing and starring in it as the coach. Ben, his character's named Ben. I play Barry Hopkins, his dad.
Yes.
I'm a former pro athlete who now owns a steakhouse. I make his life hell. I'm always giving him a hard time. I don't respect him. I bust his beans constantly. I'm always judging him. I don't wish him ill, though. He's my son. I do love him.
Okay.
So it's not a hate-filled thing, but it's definitely a ball-busting thing. Then you've got Natasha Leggero, you've got Ron Funches, Steve Berg, 80 Miles. You've got some of the great comedians, Cleo Kings in it. Just great comic talent lined up. And it is very funny. Jake Johnson is off the charts funny in it. There's a lot of cussing. He plays a high school basketball coach in Kentucky who, he's mad at his wife, he's mad at his dad, he's mad at his best friend, and he just can't seem to get it together. But he's trying to coach these kids, these high school kids, to be winners, even though he's far from being a winner himself.
Wow, this is great. I mean, you named a ton of funny people. Jake is as funny as they come. He's been on the show before. First time I ever met him, he wore, this is back when my show was a podcast in the NFL. He wore an old Mike Ditka Bears sweater, or probably more Buddy Ryan Bears era sweater.
The Big Bears thing?
Big Bears right across.
Yes.
It was his when he was a kid, and it still fit him. God bless him.
That's classic 85. That's classic 85.
Classic 85. You know, circa, I guess for you and your fandom, I guess circa Marty Schottenheimer is probably.
Would have been just at the beginning or just right before.
That's probably, Marty was probably with the Browns around.
Yeah, I think he was still with the Browns. I think we got him around 87 or 88, somewhere in there.
Right around there. Well, I mean, last time we spoke to Patrick Mahomes is on a rookie contract. Now he has all the American dollars that are in existence.
Yes, he does.
Right now. That was your team is just taking care of business. They signed Chris Jones too. I mean, you're ready to roll in a couple of weeks here.
I'm telling you, being out in the desert, as long as we've been out in the desert, Rich, it feels really good to be at the Oasis, drinking of the water. It feels really good. Yeah, and they're all so young and so motivated and so optimistic, and they got the world by the tail. I got to play golf with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce out at the American Century Golf Tournament in Tahoe. Yeah, part of the Saturday grouping.
Okay.
And they just were so fun and so lighthearted and so jovial. And again, like I said, it's because they got the world by the tail right now. But I don't know. It just feels like there's this wonderful optimism that surrounds them. I sincerely hope that we are the team of the 20s. I hope that we are the dynasty of the 20s. You know, that would make me a very happy man.
Well, Andy Reid's only a 62-year-old man right now. I mean, and Mahomes is basically like, although I don't know if Andy Reid's got a touch of the Wilford Brimley, rest his soul, in him, where he looks older than he really is. You know what I mean? Like he might have that sort of.
Oh yeah, the football's being a head coach in the National Football League is very stressful. Very stressful.
Although it's like sitting in a rocking chair with Mahomes. What was that round of golf like? To walk me through that.
Oh, it was fantastic. He swings the club so hard. I swear, every time he did it, my back hurt because I was like, how am you getting that kind of torque? He would come off the tee with irons because if he used a wood, something bad would have happened.
Are you serious?
So he really, the club head speed had to be around 150. I'm not even kidding. It was just nuts. His game was just like mine. We're like 12 handicaps. We're in the same grouping for a reason.
Okay.
So it's not special golf. You know, we were chunking, we were rolling putts way past, way short.
Right.
I was winning through 15 holes. I had them through 15. And then we came in the last 16, 17, and 18. And I should have known I was playing against Mahomes. He always comes from behind. He always comes from behind.
Like the Super Bowl. That's what he did, you know.
The whole postseason, the whole everything.
Right, you were the Texans. He turned you into the Texans, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he did. He turned it on, and I buckled like a lawn chair. I doubled the last 3 holes, and he went on to win that day.
So was Kelce like locked in too, or is he just like?
Kelce was. I think he was a little bit out of it. I think he came in third that day, that particular day. But when he hits a golf ball,
yes.
If he catches it on the ascending blow, it's so funny when we'd say hit it as hard as you can, man. He would just chunk it or put it in the woods, or it was just out of control. If we left him alone, he would pipe it, no joke, 330, 350.
Get out of here.
I swear to you, we were on a par 5 coming down towards the lake. It's actually 16.
Yes.
And he probably hit it 360 because there's a little downhill to help, but it still was monster drives.
He also strikes me as a guy who probably got into the swing oil right around the 3rd tee box. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter what time of day you teed off, like right around the 3rd tee box, he was already just getting in there. So,
you know, he's in general in life, he's one of the most jovial guys.
I love him. He's great. Look, I know you got to run, and congrats on the show, Hoops. Anytime I get an opportunity to have you on the show and just chit chat, I will take advantage of that. I do want to show you also, thanks to the good people of Netflix, trying to include me, and they made a trading card of me, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know who this person is. If you can, I would like to basically object to this portrayal.
No, they're not telling you that's you, is it? No.
This is, yes, Rich Eisen trading card right there. I don't understand. Again, I guess
facial hair. And why do you have eyes that look like you just are a deer in a headlight?
These are all good questions. There's no meat on that bone either. I mean, it's not nearly as flattering as I prefer, but I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to roll with it.
Yeah, do your best. They really messed out on the facial hair because that gives you a lot of edge.
Yes, it does. So if I ever do cameo in this, we'll have to talk.
We'll fix that. That will fix that up.
Rob, great to chat with you. You be well. We'll see you soon.
Always good to see you, man. Take care.
That's right. It's, Rob Riggle right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hoops starts streaming on Netflix tomorrow, and that's Friday for all those scoring at home. And put the kids to bed. That's the fair warning. Thanks, Rob.
See you, bud.
Fun chat with Rob.
So, Rich,
always.
that thing does not look like you. That card does not look like you.
You know what I mean?
What do they do?
Is it supposed to be you, or is it just your name?
All I know is, I get this from Netflix saying, hey, this is you. And it's a smart move by the PR staff there. It's just another way for this to
keep
be
talking
talked
about their show,
right?
yeah, of course.
And hey, let's include, and that's just I don't get it.
Yeah, what was your grandfather's name?
Well, Leo was my mom's dad, and Morris was my father's dad.
Okay.
So, Grandpa Leo, Grandpa Morris.
Did your grandfather Morris look like that?
First of all, I'm not that gray. I do have the gray going on. I do have the beard.
Got the sides.
Right.
Yeah, but it's more
Speaking
like
of gray, honestly,
like
this looks more like Jim Gray.
I mean,
right? It looks like I should be telling this person I'm taking my talents to South Beach. More than
Rich,
me.
I'm not going to lie. I think Urlacher should get a call.
And
looks
then
better with the hair.
And speaking of that number,
those eyes. Like,
speaking of that number, the head coach of Rob Gronkowski coming up in hour number 3.
Nice.
But before that, Justin Turner of the Dodgers will be joining us. And Justin, tell me more about Mookie Betts. Oh, baby. Oh, my gosh. Tell me more about Mookie Betts, please.
Everybody in the wormhole just tells me just become a Dodgers fan. I'm like,
why not?
I want to root for teams that win championships.
Oh, my word.
You know what I mean? That's fun.
He's
That's
got
fun.
a point.
Winning
Been a
championships is
long
fun.
time.
Oh, my word.
Making it there and then choking, not so much fun.
Oh, my word.
32 years ago.
You know what I mean?
By the way,
long time.
It's if you do believe in that, it ain't going to be because of this guy on your screen.
No, he's amazing.
And it's definitely
Right.
not. And it's definitely hasn't been because of the guy who's calling in.
No.
Okay.
Because we watched him win a World Series game.
I mean, the
Me and
one,
you, Rich.
By
the
the
guy that I'm
way.
talking about is left-handed. You know what I mean? It's just like weird.
By the way, these are all the numbers.
Rhymes with.
You know what? It's interesting. Let's take a break because I have these numbers. These numbers are familiar to me in terms of a factor. Yeah, they jump out at me.
All right.
And then your phone calls at
have your
844-204-RICH.
Have your fun.
Coming up. Oh, boy. Absolutely. Can't wait to chat with Justin Turner. On his way, I guess, to...
Yeah, they're in Seattle.
They're in Seattle.
Yeah, they're in Seattle.
So he's
Safeco? Is it still called Safeco up
Ooh,
there?
that's a good question.
That's a great park. Beautiful
That's a
park
beautiful,
up there
right
in
next-
Seattle.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You can look into it.
Right
if you're
next
up
door to
above,
where
right
the Seahawks
upstairs.
play.
Yeah.
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile now.
T-Mobile.
I would
Park.
never.
Would
Was
not have
Safeco when it
got
started.
that, by the
No.
way.
Nope.
Would not have got that.
That's where
Please.
me and Donald Arthur Mattingly had my second conversation.
Almost 2
And
years ago.
on that site is where you beat Seton Hall, where they built that
Kingdom-
stadium.
Oh, the old
Kingdom?
Kingdom.
Right there. Yeah. Don't even. When you park the trucks, the guy is like, "Yeah, this used to be where the Kingdom was." He said that to me. I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
where
want to hear that."
Michigan. That's where Michigan won their national championship. That's where also Don Mattingly played his last baseball game as a Yankee. The old Kingdom.
Kingdom.
Oh my gosh. And Safeco is where Don Mattingly and I had the second conversation of our lives together.
The real conversation.
The one where I asked him if he remembered our first conversation, and I stepped all over myself once again, like the first conversation.
Maybe just don't talk to Don Mattingly anymore.
I will always
You know
talk
what I
to
mean?
Donald Arthur Mattingly. So, again, we're going to be streaming on Peacock coming up in just 4 days from now. 4 Lou Gehrig days. 4 days. Are there any other number 4?
Bobby Orr was number 4.
Okay. What about football?
Favre was 4.
Favre was 4. Favre was 4. Yep.
Famous Forrest.
Nice golf foursome right there.
Yep. Who's playing right now in the NBA?
We got Heat Pacers game 2 right now.
And how are we doing there?
Let's see. We're end of the first quarter. It's close. Hold on. They just went to commercial. Indiana's up 2, 24-22.
All righty then.
Low scoring. Yankees up 1-0 on the
Oh, my God.
Rays.
The Rays have the Yankees number, bro.
Phillies up 1-0 on the Blue Jays.
Speaking Nick Turturro's video. You didn't respond to my text of sending you Nick Turturro's video.
I thought it was going to be a long rant.
No,
it was just
not.
like
It was literally
4
two
seconds
curse words.
Yeah, him
so
just
good.
slamming
Literally
his
was
glasses.
2 curse words.
Yeah.
You didn't respond. I texted it to you.
I
texted you. I'm clearly not the only one who dislikes Zach Britton with the heat of 1,000 suns. That was similar to my answer, by the way. Oh, my word. Yep. Okay,
How is
very
he
good.
still getting trotted out there?
NBC Sports on Peacock. That is going to be the name of the standalone channel on Peacock on which you can begin streaming this show every single weekday at noon Eastern Time. We will be here at 9 bells every morning from the Rich Eisen Show studio in El Segundo, California. As soon as Dan Patrick is done, he'll hand it off to us. Then we hand it off starting in September to Michael Smith and T.J. Jefferson's college roommate for a hot minute, Michael Holley. And PFT will be sort of the bookends of that day, every single day on Peacock. Justin Turner making his way to the stadium in Seattle for the 18-8 Dodgers. You know, who has the best record in the best record in the American League is the Oakland A's at 17-8.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just assumed it was you guys.
No, the Yankees can't beat the Rays. Pretty much, it's amazing. And the Yankees of the 16 wins, 7 of them have come against the Boston Red Sox. And Justin Turner's
500 against everyb's else. And
Justin Turner's teammate,
beating the bag out of us.
Justin Turner's teammate, Mookie Betts, is crushing it. And Mookie Betts' teammate, Justin Turner, calling it. Can you put up Mookie Betts' number?
Oh, Luke Voigt hit a home run for you guys.
Oh, very good. That's another. He's been
got 10.
He's been going yard. There we go. So he's got 30 hits.
Yeah.
He's got a batting average of 306.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You know, if you took the first digit from his batting average and multiplied it with the last digit, do you know what number you'd get?
You get 18.
How many losses did the Red Sox have? You know what? It's interesting. If you multiplied, if you doubled the number of home runs that he has, how many losses did the Red Sox have?
Yeah.
If you took the first number of his hits, right?
And
subtracted it from his RBIs.
From his RBIs.
Right.
What number would you? I mean, it's just honestly, I'm helping my kids with math, with home learning, and I'm just looking at these numbers. Not to go all Sesame Street on you, but today's shows is brought to you by numbers that are in some way divisible or factors of the number of Red Sox losses.
It's weird
they have because in many ways Mookie's not there. If you took the first number of his RBIs, subtracted it from his number of runs, I mean, we could go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, if you took his home runs and subtracted it from his RBIs, you'd have how many years it's been since the Yankees won a World Series.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's actually got a point.
It's great.
I can't get
Look, and I know so many Red Sox fans in my own household. My own household.
Sleep with one.
My own household, right? This is just delicious. It's all great.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean,
no, it's not terrible. It's the actual opposite of terrible.
It's brutal. Just end the year. Stop showing up to the ballpark.
Let's go to Kyle in California. You're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Kyle?
What's up, Rich? What's up?
What's going on, Kyle? Sorry for making you hang as long as you did, but we're pleased to have you on. What's going on?
Happy to listen to you guys. Great interview with the Bus as usual.
Thank you, sir.
Guy.
Yeah, he is a great guy. What's on your mind, Kyle?
Anyway, I was wondering what you thought Lavar's kind of, after the whole Lonzo thing, I wonder if he's going to be a little different this time around, especially if he gets drafted by the Knicks.
I don't think Lavar is going to change a thing, quite frankly. And I think
even with the way Lonzo's career's kind of gone these first couple years, not exactly ideal. Maybe he saw the impact that.
Well, let me think. Do you think Lonzo's career has gone the way that it's gone? If in Lavar's head, I've never met the man. But do you think if you asked him the way that Lonzo's career has gone, do you think it's because of the way Lavar handled his business or the way that the previous organization and the coaches handled their business with Lonzo? What do you think his answer would be?
Well, obviously a lot of external factors, but I know for a fact that guys were geared up and ready to go for Lonzo. Remember Pat Bev talking about that first game when right after all the, better than Michael Jordan, Lonzo is going to be better than LeBron, blah, 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 da, da. And NBA guys, they hear that, they're going to go after you, especially as a top pick.
No, I know. He definitely put a target on his son's jersey. There's no doubt about that. Magic Johnson did too. On top of all of it, though, Kyle, I don't think we've heard the last of Lonzo. I mean, how old is Lonzo? Is he even? He's not even 25 yet, right?
No, we looked it up this morning. He's 22.
Okay, I mean he's still a pup, right? And we're going to see what happens in New Orleans, and we have not heard the last of Lonzo Ball whatsoever. But I think Lavar, and thank you for the call, Kyle. I think Lavar in New York City, the phrase toxic comes to mind. I mean, just in terms of the media wanting him to talk and him wanting a platform to hear himself talk will just be a total riptide that will keep churning and churning and churning and churning.
LaVar could move to Chelsea, and then he could walk to the First Take studio every day.
And just be part of that, right?
And just be part of the show.
He could be part of that.
It'd be him and Molly and Max and Stephen A. They could do a four-person show.
How? Well, he could walk to the studio.
Did you see ESPN even trolled the Knicks this morning? Did you see this?
I did not. What are you talking about?
Oh, my goodness. They posted the Joker painting photo.
Oh, Knicks fans preparing for the NBA draft lottery. I like the Knicks logo in the eyeball right there.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Everyone having their fun.
Everyone having fun with the Knicks, man. And they don't do a damn thing to make people change.
No.
Their stance. Not a damn thing. Because the owner is...
The Joker.
The Joker.
He is the Joker.
Well, I mean, he's just not good at owning the Knicks. He's terrible at owning the Knicks. He's actually the worst owner in sports. On the opposite end, you've got Steve Ballmer showing up for the Clippers last night. I think it's the first game that he was. I didn't see him in game one.
They did not show him in game one. I don't know if he was there.
But all I know is, again, he was behind glass and he was wearing a mask. Is there an owner's bubble instead of an owner's box? Is there like an owner's sort of like a penalty box type thing set up with a nice cushy chair and all sorts of food and
I would imagine so. That makes sense.
Right.
I mean, they even have the announcers. I don't know if you saw
it's split, divided.
Yeah,
and all.
there's a divider between.
No, I know that. The same way that Ernie is separated from Shaq and what
on the
have
largest desk in mankind.
Hey, man, whatever it takes to get those four guys in studio, it works and it's great to watch. And thank goodness they're trying.
Yeah, they've been great. I mean, they're always great, but I feel like
now
it's been tremendous.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
Correct. You know what else we need? We need to make sure that Jerome Bettis wasn't trying to mess with us. We do recall him singing the Michigan fight song instead of paying off the bet by wearing a hat that he was supposed to make up, saying, I should have gone to Michigan, and he was supposed to wear it on the field at Notre Dame with Touchdown Jesus in the background. That was the payment of the wager on the line between Michigan and Notre Dame last year. And as you know, my institution of higher learning beat, I wouldn't call it yours. Again, you live in New Jersey, and for some reason, because your dad liked him, you liked him. And you have adopted them as your own, even though you didn't go there.
And I've liked them since 1977.
Do we have Jerome singing the Michigan fight song? Let's hear this, please.
Hail to the victors, valiant hail to the conquering heroes. Hail to Michigan, the leaders victors and best.
Wow.
I mean, he paid the bet off.
I still can't believe he did that.
He paid the bet off. That's it. I would never.
That's a sign
it.
off.
You can't go.
He cashed in.
Yeah.
Can we have that at the ready for the next time he calls in?
Hail to the victors.
Great job, Mike.
That's all you get.
You know what?
I'm
not even gonna. I'm not even gonna go. The voice on him here. I wouldn't turn my chair for him, but I'm not gonna criticize the off-key nature of it. He did it. He was close enough. It's actually even better that he remembered the words. Of course, he knows the words.
By the way, he practiced.
Do you know what? He doesn't need to practice.
What do you mean? Of course he
He's
does.
from Detroit. He grew up. He probably heard it every damn week. You cannot grow up in Detroit and not know about Michigan.
I can't
and
sing
have
the
it
Rutgers fight
all
song
around you all the
I don't know,
time.
maybe.
He was recruited by Michigan.
But that was 30 years ago.
I know. You grow up there.
He's trying to remember.
He's also played enough games.
Hail to the victors, valiant hail to the conquering heroes. Hail to Michigan, the lead.
I'm so happy.
Victors and best.
Wow.
Just play that on a loop. To play us out,
hold?
I'm going to go.
Music on
I'm
hold?
going to go.
You can make that your ringtone.
Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
To play us out, he did it live, and we forgot about it. Justin Turner is calling into our show. Hey, Justin, how great is Mookie Betts? Chris Brockman wants to remember. Oh, by the way, Bruce Arians is calling in hour number 3, too. The head coach of Tom Brady.
I'm just going to.
There's been the last three head coaches of Tom Brady. Lloyd Carr, Bill Belichick, and this guy.
That's true.
Carr.
Think about it.
That's amazing.
That's it.
That is incredible.
That's it.
Insane. There you go.
The GOAT.
And then his high school coach. So Tom has had like 4 coaches his whole life.
Probably that's it.
He played Pop Warner.
I'm just saying, high school.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
His Pop Warner, his high school, his college, his pro, now another
and
pro.
Now, but like, it's crazy.
That's
so great. Bruce Arians.
And Tom looks amazing.
He does look good in practice.
He looks so good.
Looks good.
All these videos the Bucs have been posting.
He threw the Gronk.
He looks
The
incredible.
Gronk catch is the best. Gronk caught it. Ooh, it was unbelievable.
And by the way, whoever's doing the video editing for the Bucs,
killing it.
Killing it. Because
Crushing
they're doing the NFL films. They're
like-
zooming in on the
Crushing
spiral,
it. Crushing
and
it.
it's in slow-mo, and then they're
look
pulling
at that.
out.
Look at that in
Look
the
at that guy.
popsicle. Don't touch me jersey.
Oh,
And the penny.
he
Dumb
is
pewter helmet.
probably the best-looking 43-year-old guy that's playing football.
That's ever lived, you
Ever
mean?
lived, maybe. I mean,
Oh, what
having
is
a
happening?
fun day. What a fun day. What a fun day.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
The Blazers take down the Lakers.
Tanya Ganguli here on the Rich Eisen Show. I mean, I would ask the poll question of Tanya, please.
Yeah, Tanya, which one seed should be panicking the most?
I guess I would say the Lakers.
Laker Nation, don't worry about that.
Earlier on the show, from Sports Illustrated, Chris Mannix, Pro Football Hall of Famer Jerome Bettis, actor and comedian Rob Riggle. Coming up, Los Angeles Dodgers third baseman Justin Turner, plus Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Hour number 3 of the Rich Eisen Show here on NBCSN. We're getting ready to start streaming on Peacock on Monday, the Rich Eisen Show Radio Network. We're thrilled to have you here. In just a few seconds, we'll be joined by Justin Turner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Bruce Arians of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, will join us. So we're going to have a red beard and a red ass in hour number 3. And I'll tell you what, Chris Brockman, I'm glad you're staying here because to have, this is going to be a rough hour for you, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
To have the teammate of Mookie Betts up first and then the coach of Tom Brady up second. This is a rough one for you.
Back-to-back,
it's a rough one for you. No more Mookie Betts. To use the Patino phrase, he's not walking through that door in Boston. And the same thing of Brady. Okay?
He ain't walking
Gronk, too.
Gronk, too.
And Gronk.
Oh, my gosh. That's right. How did he slip through the cracks? And you at 844-204-RICH, number to dial here on the Rich Eisen Show. And joining us right now, making his way to the ballpark in Seattle, member of the 18-8 Los Angeles Dodgers, is one of our favorites, calling to the program once again, Justin Turner. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
I am doing fine. So what is it like playing this year, Justin? What's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely different. Obviously, a lot of new protocols, a lot of new hoops that we have to jump through to make sure, guys are being safe, guys are taking care of one another and looking out for each other and each other's health. And then, once you get to the ballpark, it's just weird. No fans is tough, man. I knew we had great fans in LA, and I knew we always fed off their energy and what they brought every night, but you don't really realize how much you enjoy playing in front of people until there's no one there. So it's been a weird season so far, for sure.
So, I mean, we at home are hearing sometimes crowd noise get pumped into our feed watching the games. It really is nothing in the stadium at all. They're playing nothing, no music, no walk-up music, or there is sort of that stuff still going on a little bit.
No, that stuff's still happening. They do have crowd noise going. They do have the cardboard cutouts. Like last night, for example, in Seattle. By the way, Seattle, I think, is leading the league in cardboard cutout attendance. The stadium was packed.
Is that right? Is that right?
But in that ninth inning, they cranked up the crowd noise a little bit. Guys in the dugout were joking, saying that we were playing the Seahawks and not the Mariners.
Nice.
But yeah, there's walk-up music, there's crowd noise. They put some stuff on the boards in between innings. Something that the Dodgers have started to do. They've had guys' kids kind of tape, for example, Clayton Kershaw, when they announced the lineups,
yes,
his daughter, Callie, will be pitching today. My daddy, Clayton Kershaw. So they're getting creative with some stuff, but it's still nothing will replace our fans. It's still not the same.
Well, I mean, and then just have you had a conversation? Did Dave Roberts lead it off, or did you and the rest of the locker room and your teammates in your clubhouse have a conversation about when you're not at work, about conducting yourself in a manner that doesn't maybe make vectors of COVID be brought into your world? Did you have that conversation at all as the Dodgers?
Yeah, it's not just a one-and-done thing. It's an ongoing conversation. We've had several of them. And really, what it comes down to is, being responsible for yourself, being responsible for your teammates, and, trusting that all the guys are making the right decisions. Because even though, you're doing everything right and you're, following all the rules and being compliant, it just takes one guy on the team to not do it. And then, you might see something that happens like the Marlins or, the Cardinals. So it's a constant conversation, constant reminder, be responsible, be smart, make good decisions, don't be selfish. And, it's something that's taking place almost on a daily basis.
Justin Turner of the 18-8 best in the record in baseball currently, Los Angeles Dodgers, calling in from Seattle, making his way to the ballpark right now. Are you dressed in your uniform, or do you dress there still? Or are you going like Little League to the game in your uniform?
No. We go to the park in clothes and get dressed there. The locker rooms are different now. There's kind of an expanded roster, but they're still trying to socially distance us in the locker room. So what you'd see in a locker room now is there's every other locker in the locker room is taken up, and then in the middle of the locker room they brought in like portable metal ones and space guys out in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. So it's a different look in there. Food rooms aren't open anymore. They're kind of taped off, and we have a couple of Dodger employees who are back in the food room, and you have to ask them for anything you want, and they bring it to you. You go in the bathroom, every other urinal is blocked off, every other shower head is blocked off. So everything's changed. Everything's different. Going into the ballpark, for example, in Seattle, we have to enter in the ballpark in center field now, and you basically walk outside the entire time through the bullpen, in through left field, and then you go down the dugout up to the clubhouse. They don't let you go inside the building anymore. So a lot of things are different. A lot of things have changed. After the game, we don't eat dinner at the field anymore. We come back to the hotel. Everything's boxed up in a conference room, and you get off the bus, go in the conference room in the hotel, pick up your dinner, and then bring it up to the room and eat by yourself. So, a lot of changes.
I bet so. Justin Turner here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, there's a couple of things I want to hit with you here. First things first, the date of Tuesday, July 28th. Do you remember that day of this year? Justin, do you know what day that is I'm referring to off the top of my head?
I can guess.
Here's a hint. It's Houston. It happened in Houston. You were in Houston that night. You know that date? Does that date ring a bell to you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know at all what was in Joe Kelly's dome taking the mound that night at all, Justin?
I don't know what's in Joe Kelly's dome any day of the week. So if I'm being quite honest. So,
okay. All right.
I do know, Joe's a competitor. I do know that he is notoriously capable of throwing pitches all over the map. I think they actually hired him as the guy that drilled the bull in Bull Durham. I have no idea what he was thinking, what was going through his head that night. Obviously, a lot of stuff happened.
Yes.
That's all behind us now. But
yes, indeed. But you're a smart guy. You're a perceptive guy. I assume you in the dugout you're standing out on the field. You're beginning to piece stuff together, right? You're beginning to piece.
Yeah, I was out at third base. Yes. And during the Correa at bat, I think Brantley was on second, and then after he struck him out, Brantley was running the third. I've played against Mike for a long time. And he came over, and we were kind of talking while all that stuff was going down. And I wasn't really in the middle of it. I was just kind of sitting back, like watching. A lot of times those things, everyone's just kind of running their mouth and jawing, and nothing really happened. So there wasn't ever really anything to get too excited about at that point.
So basically, from your third base position, you did not see the facial expression that Kelly delivered leaving the mound, I imagine, till after the game, right? Or did you have a good view of that one, Justin?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. I didn't hear it. It is pretty quiet in there. You can hear a lot of stuff. I know the entire inning, their whole dugout was all over Joe, yelling. I think Dusty was calling him a skinny-ass MFer the whole inning, and from the top step. So there was a lot of John going on their side before any of this stuff even happened. And I think if you listen to the John Boy video, you can actually hear Dusty yelling at him in it. So it wasn't just Joe there. And I know Dusty went on and said that Joe antagonized it, but they were all over him the whole inning.
So I mean, what happened though after the inning in the dugout in the clubhouse afterwards? Did this in some way, shape, or form bring you guys even closer together? Do you think? as a team? I understand this is a sensitive subject because, nobody wants a baseball in the head. We understand that, but there's a very large bridge and there's a ton of water under it. You do have 2 more games against Houston coming up in September in just a couple of weeks. So, did this at all bring you guys, in a more cohesive manner together? Do you think?
Yeah, anytime something like that happens, I think it brings the guys, closer together. And, we've had a few incidences this year come up. And, when you see that guys have each other's backs and they're, standing shoulder to shoulder, supporting one another, I think it's huge for team chemistry, if you believe in team chemistry or not. But, those things do help teams come together, and we've been playing pretty good baseball since then. So,
and just a last question on this subject here. Did you see Trevor Bauer's shoes that he was planning on wearing in Major League Baseball? Apparently told him if he wore it, he would not be able to play in the game. He'd be ejected and potentially suspended or fined. Have you seen this, Justin?
Yeah, I did see those shoes. And, that's another guy that's, not scared to speak his mind, speak his opinion. And, personally, I thought the shoes were great. There's the T-shirts are going around all over the place. The Free Joe Kelly hashtag all over social media. I mean, I don't think they were supposed to lighten the shoe rules this year, and you can wear whatever you want, put whatever message you want. And apparently, unless it offends Rob Manfred, you can put whatever you want.
Well, I guess so. Your piece of metal shoes is not going to be worn. Is that what you're saying? This year?
Yeah, I'm still working on those. I'm trying to find the right shoe artist so we can get that thing down.
I bet so, man. I bet so. Justin Turner here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, and the other subject is sensitive to my friend who's across the way here, Chris Brockman, who's from the New England area, loves the Boston Red Sox. So please do not hold back in your answer whatsoever. I really want your unvarnished opinion of Mookie Betts as a teammate and what he's brought to your team, Justin.
Oh, man, he is everything advertised and then some. His appetite for getting better and working and not taking things for granted is off the charts, probably better than anyone I've ever played with. It's almost funny, being in the cage with him before the game and watching him work. And it's like every swing he takes, he finds something wrong with it. He's constantly tinkering, and he's a perfectionist. And I think that's what makes him so great. And since he's been bumped up to the leadoff spot, our offense has really taken off, and he's a game changer. He can set the tone from the first pitch. What he does in right field, he's everywhere in right field. I feel like there's four Mookie Betts standing out in right field. It seems like every ball that goes up, he's camped under it somehow, and just a great guy. Great conversations with teammates, helping guys out. I know he's had a lot of conversations. There's been a lot talked about with him and Austin Barnes, and Barnes, he's playing really good right now. So, he's just a guy that you want to have on your team, and I think L.A. is very, very fortunate to have him for the next, 12 years.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Seager who was on the receiving end of that throw in Arizona from the corner that he threw on a total dart on the line, right? It wasn't you who received that from third base, if I'm not mistaken.
I only received the credit for it, but no, it wasn't me.
Okay, I mean,
it was Seager.
When you're watching that though in real time, I mean, what in the hell is that? You want to talk about freakish ability? That is unbelievable what he was able to do from right field.
I got the chance to play with Yasiel Puig, who obviously has a tremendous throwing arm, and I was on the receiving end of his throw in Colorado when Trevor Story tried to stretch the triple, and he threw the ball from the right field wall essentially in the air to third. And that was Mookie's throw was comparable for me. He's going to his left, up against the wall, spins, and fires a dot right on third base. Just incredible. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's a perfectionist. I think everything that he does, he's really good at. I mean, he's a 2 handicap golfer.
He's not. Come on, no.
10 300 games, bowling. I mean, everything he does, he excels at. He's good. So nothing. I don't think anything's going to surprise me.
He's a 7-tool player. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's like 12. I don't know. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then, to have the ability, he's got 6 3-home run games in his career. That's just absurd. I mean,
that is absurd.
You're a freak. You got to be a freak to do that.
Well, look, Justin, I know you just had a milestone hit of your own 1,000th career hit. Congratulations on that. Before I let you go, you and your wife, Courtney, have the Justin Turner Foundation together, helping a ton of people in Southern California. I'll give you the floor on that, what you're up to, how people can get involved, please.
Yeah, we're always trying to do what we can and give back to the city of LA. Obviously, they've done so much for me in my career, and our main beneficiary is the Dream Center of Los Angeles. They have a ton of great programs going on over there, but the ones that we're, we work closely with are, the homeless veterans program. They have a men's floor and a women's home, getting homeless veterans off the street, helping them make that brutal transition back into everyday life. And they just reopened their food line again with LA Unified School District not opening back up. There's a lot of families in Los Angeles who depend on that hot meal program that aren't going to have it because the schools aren't open. So, we've worked with local businesses, local restaurants, ordered food, done some deals, got some food donated that goes up there, and families can drive through the line and pick up hot meals for 3 or 4 hours a day. So, there's always good stuff going on up there. They're great people, great leaders. Pastor Matthew Barnett runs it, and we're happy to be partnered up with them and helping our community in as many ways as we can. And if you want to donate to the foundation, you can go to justinturnerfoundation.com, and all the information's on there.
Justin, I really appreciate our chats. You've always been good to call into the show, whether it's the playoffs or now obviously the regular season in a unique campaign, to say the least. I greatly appreciate it. And what I'd like to do, maybe to help the calls here, is my sound engineer from New Jersey, Mike Del Tufo. I'm going to make a cardboard cutout of him and put it in Dodger Stadium, just for so the Rich Eisen show is part of what's going on in Dodger Stadium. Okay.
Hey, listen, we've led the league in attendance every year. We can't lose on the cardboard attendance this year. So throw it in there.
I will do it.
I'm in.
Trust me. This is. By the way, it's happening. I'm not kidding. This is going to happen. So Justin, keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for that.
All right, I will.
We'll chat soon. Thanks again.
Okay, thanks, Rich.
You got it. That's Justin Turner. That's Justin Turner. And as if talking about Mookie Betts being as great as he isn't, let's just say that's the shot to the chops of Chris Brockman, New England sports fan. Here comes the left jab of Gronk and the right uppercut knockout of Tom Brady, because the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bruce Arians, is about to join us next, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Oh, baby. We'll be on time for BA when we come back. So you're aware.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can. I don't know if we provide the cardboard cutout. We provide the photograph that they create, because I don't think that fits in a Dodger Stadium seat. So.
I mean, we'll take a picture, TJ, and I'll take it.
No, we got to figure it out. We got to brand it right. Like, it's got to be. I'd rather a Rich Eisen show sign, not a swoosh. You know what I mean? Like,
Peacock hat.
Do you have we'll brand it properly?
I got it.
You're less sweaty, Mike. Can we give you some makeup?
No. It's hot in Dodger Stadium.
I've sat behind that place when it's hot in there.
I don't know if I can get you next to Mary Hart.
Well, I've sat behind you guys. I mean,
by the way, I think they charge those are her seats, so she's sitting in her seat.
Right.
I don't know whose seats we can get, but
put me back about 9 rows.
I'm not joking.
Mike, you're going to be in the outfield.
We're going to have
no. I sit behind home plate. I'm not like you. I don't get the
outfield.
cheap seats when I go to Dodger games. I'm behind home plate.
Okay. All right, we're 45 seconds back to our Peacock audience, and then about a minute and a half after that is when Bruce Arians is going to join us. I love this man. I don't care who knows it.
Best Kangol wearing guy I know.
Well, it's him and Sam Jackson, and who are the other ones?
He's trying to talk about himself.
Oh, yourself.
Yeah, I've been wearing them since the 80s, before they were actually a big thing.
So are you saying this? Are you saying that
I'm like
you,
the K corner
you
and
spawned the
Kangol.
Kangol wearing
K's.
movement?
Anything with K, from the K corner to Kangol.
Oh, my God.
I'm taking that up.
LL Cool J has entered the Kangol chat now all of a sudden. Kangol hats. That's LL Cool J, bro.
So we're starting to stream on Peacock starting next Monday, and then this will be the time that we will be on the air on Peacock. So this shout out to our YouTube streamers that are watching us today. We're going to be on our YouTube. Tomorrow will be our last YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show live
day, yeah.
stream.
Yes.
But you will still be able to catch our show in all of its clip format on our YouTube page. So we're still going to be available on our YouTube page is going nowhere. It's just, again, the live stream. The only way that you'll be able to stream this show live is through Peacock. And again, you can do it on your web browser. It's available on the web. PeacockTV.com. Visit right now for all your information, or download the app. And you can watch us and stream us on your iPhone and your iPad and all of that business. Of course, you can listen to us every single day on Sirius XM Channel 211, as you're doing right now, potentially. Locally in the Los Angeles market, Mightier 1090 is how you can do that. Okay, so we are back on with everybody returning to us in 20 seconds. In just about now 15 seconds, Bruce Arians of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will join us. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. Great chat with Justin Turner of the Los Angeles Dodgers moments ago, talking up his new teammate Mookie Betts, who left Chris Brockman's Boston Red Sox. Any other New England superstars leave New England?
I think that was it. I think that's all that made news in the offseason. Yeah.
This gentleman is one of my favorite people who I've gotten to know and covering the National Football League as the host of NFL Network since 2003. He is the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bruce Arians. How are you, B.A.? What's going on, Coach?
I'm doing great, Rich. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. First up, let's talk about your quarterback competition.
Yeah, hey, you always said if you have two, you don't have any. I think we have one.
What in the world has it been like to have TB12 in front of you in a practice, Bruce? Obviously, you've been around some great ones. You've coached some great ones. You've got another one right there in front of you.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, every single day is fun because you're speaking a different language. When you're talking with a guy that's 20 years experience, and you start talking stuff, he just looks at it and says, "Sure." And when you're talking to these young guys, go, "What?" I always call it the brook jaw because their mouth's always hanging open. Huh? What? I mean, Tommy, he just gets it. I mean, every single day, it's fun. It's a ton of fun.
But I also read, if I'm not mistaken, in some of your comments you've made recently, that you treat Tom just like everybody else. He gets yelled at like everyone else. Is that are you working blue with TB12 a little bit too?
Yeah. He's got called a couple ugly names. Nothing fierce, but he likes to throw the ball in walkthroughs, and we just don't do that. And he's like, but he's open. I said, that's okay. Somebody will get hurt because, it's happened before. So he said, "Oh, I got you now. So we don't throw balls at walkthroughs anymore."
And so now you're on that same page, pretty much right there.
Yeah, we're clued in on that one now.
No, but I think you're kind of touching on something that is of interest. Is you've got you who does it the way that you've done it, and you're the coach, and you've got Tom Brady who's done it the way that he's done it for so long. How do you guys make that all mesh to make sure that you're all rowing in the same direction in that regard?
Yeah, it's a great collaboration. Quarterback coach Clyde Christensen and offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, and it's just been fun. Him learning what we do, me picking his brain on things he likes, and I'm sure it's in our offense. It's just what we call it. And we sat down one day for about 3.5 hours, talking about what he loves to do, and it really wasn't anything different scheme-wise. It was just adapting the terminology and putting the pieces together on who's going to do the jobs that he was talking about. And, it's so much, like I said, so much fun. I haven't had this much fun coaching in a long time.
I imagine so. I just thought to myself as you're saying that, Bruce, that I would love to have been a fly on the wall talking ball. You talking ball with Tom Brady and Leftwich and Clyde Christensen and just figuring out what do you like? Let's figure this out. Let's just talk ball. Let's talk playbook. Give me something from that conversation. What was that like, Bruce?
Well, it was, I like Julian here, and we do this, and this is how we try to get him open. And, we throw some tape on and said, this is pretty much the same concept. He said, yeah. And it's like, all right, we'll put Chris in here. We'll do that same thing, and we'll call it this. And if there's something that we don't have and you like, we'll call it whatever you know it as. And so it's been a ton of fun. I wish we could have had spring practice and mini camps, and we'd be light years ahead of where we are right now. But right now, I like where he's at. Is that how you got Gronk, Bruce? Is that how it worked? Where you say he's like, I kind of like Gronk here, and you're like, well, guess what? We'll get you Rob Gronkowski. Is that how that was born out? Yeah, I mean, he sold me on the fact that he wanted to play again. I thought he was happy in retirement. And he said, no, he wants to play, and he's in great shape. I called a game in New England my year off, and Gronk didn't look like himself. He had braces everywhere and was struggling to get down the field. And he got here. He looks like he 8 years younger, all healed up and running around. Looks fantastic. But yeah, Tommy sold me on him, and then we got the deal done. So when you say sold you on him, Brady's like, hey, I've been talking to Gronk, and he wants to come back, and then you needed to, because again, you know football, you watch tape, and then again, as you say, your year off with CBS, you saw him, and he was kind of a shadow of his former self. You needed to be convinced that he's ready to roll, or mentally, physically. That's how that works. Both. Physically and mentally, all in, and. He has been a joy also. And, again, learning all new stuff for the first time in his career also. So, Bruce Arians here on the Rich Eisen Show. If I'm not mistaken as well, you said Gronk is not in Florida shape, or he's not used to the Florida heat of some sort? Is that real? Yeah, I don't think he's ever sweat this much in his life. So we went air conditioning yesterday. He came up to me and said, yeah, New England weather. New England. I said, there you go. This is just for you, baby. So I guess you weren't at like his Miami Super Bowl party, where I guess you weren't at that one, huh, Bruce? No, I don't think. I think he had like a half a shirt on there instead of helmet, shoulder pads, and all the crap he's got on out here sweating in this 100-degree. So where does this rank for you? I know you say you haven't had this much fun coaching in a while. You're standing there, you're at a practice, and you're looking out there, and you see Evans, you see Godwin, you see Brady, you see Gronk, just to name 4. Obviously, there's O.J. Howard, there's Ronald Jones. You're just seeing on offense, I just named you just 6 guys. Where does this rank for you? You've been around. You've had Peyton, you've had Big Ben, you've had obviously an Arizona team with Fitz. You've had some serious people and in front of you. Where does this one rank? This is as good as we were in Pittsburgh when we were really good with Hines and Santonio and Mike Wallace and then Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown, and Heath Miller. I mean, that crew, Rashard Mendenhall, and this group reminds me a lot of that group. A lot of interchangeable parts. I think our tight end room's a little stronger than that tight end room was, but Heath Miller was special. But this tight end room is really special right now with the collaboration of guys we have, a whole 5 of them. So yeah, it's probably the best we've had. And you mentioned Antonio Brown. We know that he played with Brady, and the reporting is all about that Brady wished that Brown could have stayed there. And we know that there's a lot going on with Antonio Brown. But now that his situation has been somewhat settled by the league at the moment, is there any way mid-season that you might be interested in a reunion on that front, Bruce? That would take a lot of different moving parts, injuries and other things that would have to happen. I don't think that would ever happen. Okay. And on the defensive side of the ball, when I last visited with you in that week 16 contest before taking on the Texans, and we spoke to Sue and we spoke to Shaq Barrett, and obviously Todd Bowles, your DC. That unit was so tight in terms of run defense, pass defense. Do you think that that's been tightened up for you, and if so, how? Yeah, I mean, my number one goal in the offseason was to bring back the defense and to get JPP and Shaq and Sue all back. We did lose Carl Nassib, but and then that young secondary was just growing and growing. So to get that defense back was the priority, and then all of a sudden, some guy named Tom Brady falls in the picture, and it was a hell of an offseason.
I imagine so. And so I guess now getting ready for the season, I want to just talk about you personally, Bruce. You were here in studio just about a year and a half ago thinking about getting back into the game, and you said that you were concerned about getting back into the game, about your health, that you thought, and your family thought at some point you might have an incident on the field, which is one of the reasons why you if you will, stepped away, and said that you would only return if somebody could run the offense in a manner that would be suitable for you, and you found Leftwich in that regard. You've been connected with him, and you've adored him for some time, so you got that. But now we're in a pandemic here. How are you handling your business personally in a pandemic?
Yeah, I actually just got off the bike and did some oxygen therapy on a bike and working out a little bit more than I have in the past, and you just have to be safe. I go to work. I'm not going to get sick at work because we get tested every day, and everybody in the building is tested. So, and I go home, and my wife and I don't go out. So, it'll be hard during the season. Family members that might want to come to a ball game, if there are even fans there, I have to get them tested. And I think they all understand they're going to have to get tested before they can come, and we just can't risk it. My wife had pneumonia a couple of years ago, and we're both high risk, but we're both all in on this season and doing everything we can to stay safe.
No doubt about it. So when you say not going to get it at work, I mean, so many fans are obviously watching what's going on with Major League Baseball, especially because that's not like the NFL being played in a bubble, unlike the NBA and the NHL. Do you think that things are so buttoned up at the facilities that really is just going to come down to the vectors outside the facility and the players, if they quarantine well enough, that we can get through a season in the NFL?
Yeah, I have no doubt about it, Rich. I had a lot of doubt early. I mean, if you'd asked me that question in June, I'd said no way. But to see the protocols, the commitment our players are making, it's only going to take one guy to screw it all up, and bring it in, and everybody not know he's sick, and then we get 10 or 15 guys. But I don't think we have one of those guys that's going to do that to each other. And but yeah, I mean, we're in a hotel that's quarantined. We come to work, we go back. There are guys living at home. They've all been taught to, talk to your family members about where you're going, how you're going there, and what you're doing, so that you don't bring it home. And so, yeah, everybody's got to be safe.
So I assume, and again, I know this is a dumbass question, but I'll ask anyway. You've had this conversation, right? I imagine. How many times have you had this conversation with your team about this very subject?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Every day it's like, we stood too close together on the practice field. I know you can hear your coach. You're 6 feet apart. You don't have to be near. It's every day. It's just a reminder. Walking by the locker room, put your mask on. I know you just got out of the shower, put the sandwich back on anyway. And so it's just, it's every day. And I'm the mask police, so
you are
because I have to be.
It's amazing what things are. What you have to do as a coach, obviously in 2020. But are you coaching with a mask this year? We'll see you on the sidelines wearing a mask during the games.
Yeah, I've got about 8 different kinds, and then I looked at wearing a shield, but really good wraparound sunglasses are just as protective for your eyes, and the shield fogs up so bad. So
right,
and we've got a great doctor here who's heading up. Greg Skaggs is just amazing. He's in charge of our whole COVID and our whole sports science department. But he's on top of everything, and he gets on my butt pretty good if he sees I'm lax anywhere.
Sure. And there's just a couple more minutes left with Bruce Arians of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So have you gone over? Has the league given? We heard the league gave out directives about traveling. And what it's going to look like on the road, and potentially separate planes to keep people socially distant there. What about the sideline? Has that been hammered out about what a sideline is going to look like this fall, Bruce?
Yeah, we've got some directives lately, and it's just going to be the players on the sideline, and everybody's. It's a tier 1 type thing.
Right.
Certain doctors have to stay further away, and only certain personnel, the chain gang, and that's about it.
That's it. And then so are guys going to have to stay separate on the benches and things of that nature? Like, are you going to?
Yeah, we talked about it. It's still hard when you're coaching somebody or a group of 4 guys, like offensive line guys. I mean, it's really hard to be 6 feet apart. Although there's probably ain't gonna be that much crowd noise, so
right.
It's something we're gonna actually have 2 practice games in our stadium,
right,
to try to go through that kind of stuff.
And what about somebody who's known maybe as a coach to say the magic word or two to the officials? Is wearing a mask going to help in that regard?
It helps as far as the spit.
But a side judge won't be able to read your lips. They won't know maybe it's you, Bruce.
No, he would not know it's me, but they probably know it's me anyway.
Because something might precede you, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, certain fingers could be pointing that direction.
Oh, man, I love our chats. I guess last one before we go, is there one thing you've learned about Brady you didn't know? One thing that you assumed, but you didn't know, and that you've just been up close and personal that you've gotten to know about TB12 that you didn't at all.
Yeah, he's one of the guys. He's one of the guys, and really loves being one of the guys.
So that's something you didn't know, and you're seeing up close and personal for Tom Brady, TB12.
Oh, yeah, every day, young players, everybody.
Well, I imagine Tom's having as much fun as you, right? It looks like he's having fun.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
That's great. Hey, Bruce, thanks for the call. Appreciate the time. As always, best to your family, too. You take care.
Thanks.
You got it. That's Bruce Arians, head coach, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One of the guys, just not one of your guys.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm definitely rooting for.
You know what?
I'm definitely
rooting for Bucs, my kids have a new NFC team.
100%.
My kids have a new NFC team. They're going to root for the Rams because they've adopted the Rams here since they moved back.
Right.
NFC. But they are absolutely going to be all about watching Tampa Bay back Buccaneer football.
For sure.
Which is why the Chargers kicked the tires on him. I'm imagining the Raiders did.
I'm sure they did.
I'm imagining there's other teams.
Well, the Titans, that was a rumor for a while.
We do not know. But the Buccaneers, honestly, my kids would not have cared 1 second about a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. But now they'll probably want a TB12 jersey. Gronk.
87.
Come on.
So Tommy needed to sell Arian. By the way, he's already calling him Tommy. He's one of the guys. Come out to the coast.
Come down to the coast. Come down to the coast.
I don't want to take a break because I'm enjoying watching Brockman stew in his own sweat like this. But I got to take a break.
I'm so sad.
Your phone calls and more. We'll set up Friday's show, too, in a moment. Do me a favor. Is Tom Moore on that staff, too? Still?
On the Bucs staff?
I don't know if he opted out.
Let's see.
Because Tom Moore is got to be pushing 80, if not older.
Let's see. Coaches.
Tom Moore, as you know, was Manning's offensive coordinator, and then and Arians was the quarterback coach.
Antoine Randall is an assistant coach.
Dude. They've got all these coaches, and they've got a ton of experience. They're set up.
No Tom Moore.
I'm picking them to win the Super Bowl.
Tom Moore is
now.
not there?
I'm taking them right now.
Tom Moore not there.
They're winning the Super Bowl.
12-1, Mike. Get on
He's
that.
going to show up Belichick. I'm telling you. He's got more.
Let's dig into this a little bit more
Between
when
the
we
two
come
of them.
back.
If we just count Belichick and Brady.
It's so set up.
It is. That team was great.
Paxton just had a no-hitter broken up.
Oh, Big Maple?
Yeah. 2-2 now.
Oh, jeez. You got to be kidding. Race. That's what happened the last time. Paxton was shutting him down for 6 innings. He gave up a home run.
Yeah.
I sound like Nick Turturro without the cursing.
Yeah, I was just going to say. throw in any.
All right, you want me to get up Super Bowl odds? Yeah.
Please.
All right.
We're back on Peacock as of next Monday. This is what we're doing. We're rolling through it like right now. We're going through YouTube where you're seeing how we're working to get ready for this sort of thing. What are you going to do with your 2 minutes off during the hour that we haven't had forever in a day? Literally, the last time I think we had like commercial breaks where we could get up and do something.
Probably just stretch because
was the day before you left for your birth of your son.
That's it. Yeah.
That would have been the
25th, right?
The 25th he was born, so the 24th.
Yeah. Susie sat in that chair. It was our last day on audience.
Yeah. Probably stretch.
Because then I went off to the combine where there had to have been COVID in Indianapolis.
100%.
There was COVID in Miami. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. A lot of us probably had mild
I was reading
cases.
something. They think the U.S. COVID outbreak started at Sundance.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
In January?
With people coming in.
Oh, because people were coming in from all over the world?
Yeah.
Yep.
For the
oh, my
yeah.
gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don does not want us to be epidemiologists right now. No kidding, huh?
I'm a mixologist.
All right, we're back in a second. We'll go to the phone lines at 844-204-RICH in a second, but let's just dive into this because Bruce Arians winning a Super Bowl would be just dynamite for the human race. It really would be. I mean,
like Andy Reid.
It would
Would
be.
that lock up Hall of Fame for Bruce?
It'd come out. You gotta think. The Bruce Arians football life is something else.
Sure is. Two-time Coach of the Year.
Well, you're also talking about how he got into coaching and then how he got into head coaching.
Right.
It would not be a story outside of the rings that he won with the Steelers. A great final story for the Steelers where they said he was retiring and he was driving back to his... Remember he told us that on our podcast, that he was driving with his wife back to, I think, what was it, Florida or something like that? They were just driving somewhere after the Steelers had said he was retiring and he had no real intention of retiring. Right. And his phone rang and he looked down and it was an area code from Indianapolis. And his wife said, don't answer it. I think that was a story he told on our podcast. He answered it and the Colts hired him. Colts hired him, and then we all know Chuck Pagano got sick.
Yep.
And he strolls in and won Coach of the Year as an interim head coach. Hired by Arizona, wins Coach of the Year for Arizona. Damn near took the Arizona Cardinals to the Super Bowl.
Crazy.
And retires again. But this one he was literally sitting in that chair next to me on this set a couple of summers ago, saying he was definitely interested. This is when the Browns job was open.
He was thinking about coming
coaching,
back.
but he needed to talk about his health, and the only way he would come back is if he could hand the offense off to somebody because his wife and his family thought he might have an episode on the sidelines.
Didn't want to be the play caller because of the
And
stress
Byron Leftwich was that guy.
Yeah. And then he gets gifted Tom Brady.
And he gets, he gets Tom Brady.
Fantastic.
Well, he's got the receivers.
Yeah.
And the receivers that are behind these guys are terrific too. I mean, they can coach up the receivers there. As you know, Evans and Godwin both went out, and they had guys with name tags that were running routes.
At the end there, yeah.
On the game that I called last year, where I unfortunately needed name tags for the quarterbacks, calling Watson Winston and Winston Watson. So much during a 5-minute period that my wife is texting me saying, are you hearing what you're saying?
Are you all right?
You need to, Susie texted me literally saying, you need to talk about the elephant in the room here. You misnaming some of these guys. But if Arian,
that would be awesome.
You'd have to start talking about what he's done in his career and how he's coached and all these greats and been there for these guys and has been a head coach of note. And then you got the Buccaneers in 2020 having Brady and Gronk and Evans and Godwin and a line that can protect Brady, and Brady's smart enough to protect himself, and a staff that can feed Brady, and a roster that Brady can utilize to, one would think, a remarkable amount of success.
They have a tough schedule.
Defensively, well, everybody in that division
They've
does,
got a
don't
tough
they?
Schedule. Well,
They start in the
West.
Superdome. And then home for Carolina, at Denver, home for the Chargers, at Chicago. I mean, these are winnable games for Tom Brady in New England. So you have to figure he's coming to play here. Home for Green Bay. Man, that would be just wonderful.
Green Bay,
Kansas
City.
At Vegas, at the Giants, home for New Orleans. You know, heaven forbid we catch a break here as the human race in this country, and therapeutics and something happens to make this a more manageable situation for us, and we know who's got it, and we can quarantine those who have it, and we can be contact tracing those who are around those who have it. And then suddenly, the end of the year, you can start getting fans in stadiums. I know that sounds like a pipe dream, doesn't it?
It does.
They're talking about, as Troy Vincent, who's in charge of, the football operations for the NFL, said yesterday that Sean Payton in a competition call mentioned bubbling up for the playoffs in the same way that Major League Baseball's thinking.
Sounds like a great idea.
Great so you could bubble up in the Tampa area. You know what you could do too is you could bubble up with Gasparilla. Have a party, have playoffs. Right? I mean, as long as you bubble up and you test everybody, it doesn't matter how many people are in there, right?
Can we be there? Because that sounds great. Sign me up.
I mean, this is the conversation that the NFL is having right now.
Like the Super Bowl is going to be like.
Well, the Super Bowl in the first week of February. Look, we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. But you heard what Arians had to say, that he is a man who is obviously at risk, feels fine in the office. That's what I have heard from everybody in the NFL, that the protocols and that what's going on at the facilities are so set up. And you know how routinized people get and coaches can get, that they're set up that as long as everybody does well at home, they're not going to bring anything in, and they think they can get this season done. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. Al in Dallas has been hanging on forever. What's going on, Al?
Brockman has looked so pained the last hour.
He's done well. I think he's handled the great. Everybody's great outside of New England. Mookie Betts, Brady, Gronk conversation. I think you've handled it very well, Christopher.
Thank you. I'm trying to be positive.
I mean, he's every time you pan to him, he's squirming in his seat. He's like wiping it. He's using his mask to wipe his brow.
He looks like Jay Cutler after a 5-interception game.
Jay Cutler. So Tom, I kind of missed you guys the other day. Tom Flores was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 43 when he won his first Super Bowl, by the way. That's amazing. If you look back at those old pictures, that's what a 43-year-old looked like. So does that mean that now that Tom Coughlin's going to get in?
You know what? Great question, Al. Coughlin has a Hall of Fame resume, and he's won 2, and that is the magic number. One would think.
Better than Flores. Resume's better than Flores. One with 2 teams. You won with 2 teams. Not won a Super Bowl, but was successful with 2 teams.
Well, this is a good question. He's got the Hall of Fame resume, and obviously he launched the Jacksonville Jaguars to success as well. Thanks for the call, Al. Appreciate it. That's an interesting food for thought. I've always thought he's had it. He's had that Hall of Fame resume.
He beat the greatest team of all time in football, the Patriots that year, for that alone.
Well, and then the question is, does Eli get in?
That's the one that's got to wait.
Plunkett's still waiting, and Plunkett's still waiting. I think Eli gets in more than Coughlin. Yeah,
you do?
Oh,
I do.
Rich.
Interesting.
Oof.
Although, there's one coach a year now.
Coughlin did it with Jacksonville, too.
There's one coach a year that's going to get in from 2020. Obviously, Flores would be next year. They still have to vote. 80% of the selectors have to say yes. Yep. But I would absolutely knock every selector's head together that says, you know what? Flores, even though he's been nominated for the first time as an 83-year-old man, I'm not in for it. Please.
Crazy.
Okay? So I would knock people's heads together. Figuratively. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But then after that, you've got what are the other coaches that are waiting is, again, I know Vermeil doesn't get mentioned a lot. His football life is remarkable.
Amazing.
Don Coryell's name gets mentioned from San Diego quite a bit.
Yep.
The Eric Coryell system has been knocked off quite a bit since its inception. I don't know if there's any other coaches that I'm not thinking of, but Coughlin would have to be one of them. Jimmy Johnson was one, and obviously we checked that box.
Yep.
Tim in San Diego, you were here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Tim?
Hey, Rich. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Just wanted to welcome you and Dan Patrick to Peacock.
Thank you.
On Monday.
Looking forward
Me
to it.
and Mrs. Tim, the fashion designer, who I know you guys just love in that studio.
Okay.
She's thrilled. I'm going to be sitting in front of the TV for 6 hours again every day.
I love it. Fantastic.
With my guitar strapped on. I told her, if you let me do that, I'll learn how to play Star Spangled Banner on a slide guitar in a month, honey. So, welcome back. And
Thank you.
I just wondered, what are you guys thinking about the Padres these days?
Dude.
Tatis, Machado, kicking up their heels.
Dude, Tatis hits another home run last night, and then Machado walks it off.
Dead center.
That's right. Grand Slam Machado.
Grand Slam.
Yeah.
What was the count on that Grand Slam? Do
It
we
was
have to
full
know?
count. Full count.
Okay, so swing away, right? Swing away.
Yeah, full count.
Enjoy it.
That was a
Enjoy
pretty
it.
dramatic walk-off, I thought.
Enjoy it.
I think Machado's getting tired of Tatis stealing all his smoke.
I love it. I love it. Good, healthy competition in-house. And thanks for the call, Tim. Best to Mrs. Tim, as you referred to her. It's all good. And there's expanded playoffs, right? They're right now, I think they're at 500, hovering at 500. Your San Diego Padres,
Stand by.
Your Pods. Could you imagine they sneak into the playoffs? That'd be fun. There they are, 14-12, 2 games over. My apologies. Daniel Jeremiah is probably texting me right now to correct me. Look at that, man. Exciting.
Oh, they're right there, man.
Exciting. God, I love Tatis Jr.
Oh, so fun to watch.
Nathan
man.
in L.A., you're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Nathan?
How you doing, Rich? It's
What's
good to hear from you guys again.
Thank you. Good to be heard. Thank you.
So now that you're moving to Peacock, I was wondering if you would entertain the idea of doing a refurbished opening to your show.
Okay.
And I have kind of an idea to pitch to you on that if you think you're interested.
Well, Nathan, does it cost any money?
If you'd like to pay me, I'd be happy to pay you. This is a COVID world. I'm not, it's hard to find work right now. So
I mean, Adam, our call screener's fronting for the bottled water around here right now. So, but since I'm the boss, I guess I got to figure that situation out myself. But anyway, sorry. What's your idea? What do you got?
So my idea is that you take your Run Rich Run theme and make a whole opening out of it. You would kind of start as you would start, at the combine at the starting line.
Okay.
And Run Rich Run all over LA. You would take a handoff from one quarterback. You might catch a pass from another.
Okay.
You might catch a long full-court pass from any NBA player you want, make a layup out of it. This is all VFX, of course, unless you want to do it at each location.
I like it.
And then you run past you run past various sites in LA, and maybe you finish up in the end zone at Ram Stadium.
Wow. Oh. Nathan, I mean, that's a blockbuster right there. I'm thinking about. We only have how much time for the open?
Well, the open's only 45 seconds, so Rich doesn't run that fast.
Oh,
so we'd have to really move quickly. You know what I'm saying, Nathan?
Cut together.
All right,
Great
Nathan,
idea, though.
Thank you. We'll take that under advisement. Don't be grumpy at me just because.
I mean, I've been picked on this
Mookie
hour.
Betts
I had to get a shot.
I haven't been picked on. We're just talking sports.
I had to get a shot.
We're talking sports. The potential MVP of the shortened MLB season happens to live here, and
possible Super Bowl.
I mean, what a pass catching, pass throwing combination in Tampa. Just happens to be your old ones. All right, let's go to Mike in Alabama to give Brockman a little attaboy right here. This is going to be great. What's up, Mike?
Oh, here we go. Come on, Mike.
What's up, Mike? You got about a minute here.
Oh, here we go. Brockman, you think you've been picked on? You're about to get stomped on, all right?
Wait, what?
Here's the deal. I've got to back my boy Rich on this Michigan Ole Miss stuff you brought up the other day.
They're in the SEC.
Just real quick.
Let me tell you why. Let me break it down for you, Brockman. Here's how it rolls.
Okay.
All right. You can go to Ole Miss. You can go to this nice party school, wear a nice coat and bow tie, and go out to the Grove and sip your hottie toddies and do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yes.
And you get a piece of paper that says, yeah, I might have gone to school maybe once a week. You have to go to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where it's cold up there. And they have to go to class. And I actually got to go up there a few years ago and talk to students. And they tell me the academic rigors of that university, which they attack with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, have to put up with this kind of stuff. So they look at you, Brockman, and go, suck it. It's not going to work. So go blue.
Thank you, Mike in Alabama. That's a mic drop. And now you also hear.
If I want to be a skill guy in the NFL, I'm not going to Michigan.
Since that's from Alabama, now you know why. My coach went shirtless into that state to try and recruit players all those years ago.
Wow.
So that's the way that we might drop our way out of our Rich Eisen Show radio network on this Thursday program. And we will see our radio as well as our NBCSN audience on Friday. And then on Monday, when we're streaming on Peacock, after saying goodbye there, we finish up our audience right here on Peacock. And if you missed us yesterday, Chris Brockman tried to troll me by saying that if you're an offensive player, would you rather be coached by Lane Kiffin to go to the pros or Jim Harbaugh, and Captain Comeback and all those years of being in the NFL and him being the coach of Andrew Luck from Stanford and being the man who's been there in the NFL for all those years and taking a team damn near to the Super Bowl podium, taking Colin Kaepernick, being the man who has such vision in Colin Kaepernick and saying, let's hand the reins over to you. That guy doesn't know a damn thing. Let's go with Lane Kiffin, says Chris Brockman. As did much of our polling audience.
52% of the audience.
It wound up being how many percent?
It was 52-48. Almost 4,000 votes.
Well, at least Harbaugh won the electrical vote of that whole thing. At least took my vote down. Okay, so this is the way that we're going to roll on Peacock every single day, taking you up until this moment to wrap up our show. So, PFT Live, Dan Patrick Show, Rich Eisen Show, Brother from Another, PFT PM, NBC Sports on Peacock. We can't wait to be right in the middle of that sandwich every day.